my other live streams going. So if you will, give me about a minute or two, and we should be able to get this project going. I am getting the other YouTube up. Let me make sure because I got News Nation running in the background. We certainly don't want anybody else's news product interfering, but I always keep I'm always keeping tabs on the news while we're having these lives because news breaks fast under the Trump administration. And today's been busy. Let's just say today has been a busy day. And because I have not been on in a couple of days, there is stuff I got to cover with you guys from that. So we're going to talk about all of that. I'm sure most of you folks saw the Super Bowl. That's not really going to be a topic of discussion, but we a lot of folks had a problem with some of the issues shown in the Super Bowl as well. So we're going to talk about that as well, but that's not the actual topic of discussion. We're going to be talking about Elon Musk and Doge in deep detail because Elon is continuing to stay in the news. And obviously, a couple Trump quotes. Elon Musk is kicking ass and taking names. Tim, are you Republican yet? You know, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that message while I'm getting the show going because you guys are the only ones watching me right now. But in regards to Elon Musk taking ass and kicking ass and taking name, I was about to say taking ass and I was about to say taking ass and kissing names. All right, taking names and kissing whatever, what the fuck ever. Am I a Republican yet? If the money that Elon Musk is saving Americans, if I can see how that's making a significant difference on my life, I absolutely would give Elon Musk credit and be favorable to what he's doing. So, in regards to your question, the jury's still out. The jury's still out. I'm a big fan of him getting rid of wasteful spending. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't make a damn bit of difference in my life, and most Americans are still working two jobs and shit like that, then I don't give it. I don't care how many billions you saved. If ain't nobody seeing it, then where the fuck is the money? You might actually be pocketing it. So the jury's still out. I hear about how much money is being saved. I want to hear how much is going to the American people. And I'm not hearing that. I'm not even hearing them talking about that. So let's see where that's at. For you asking Jeremiah, I'm actually getting the lives going. So you're asking where's the main live? We'll be on all platforms in about 30 seconds here. So give me a minute. Real quick on TikTok. I just want to make sure. So, sometimes I have to make sure on TikTok the effects and shit is not on. They got these effects where they put long eyelashes and lipstick and shit on. I don't need that with the LGBT audience I got here. With the way my audience, I don't need all of the effects. So we are currently live on all platforms. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. So for some of you folks that may tune in regularly, you might notice I missed a couple of days. Had to take a break. Certainly did not want to come on live during the Super Bowl, so it is what it is. But I'm assuming all you folks saw the game. What did you think of the halftime show? I was asked right off the bat. I'm watching the halftime show, and I'm thinking of my beloved MAGA, like, oh, they ain't gonna like this shit. That halftime show, like, man, you got a black Uncle Sam. You got 100% hip hop show. All of the talent is black as well. Like, oh my God. So I wanted to get on that night. And talk to my beloved MAGA, but it is what it is. And of course, like I said, yesterday I was busy, so I did not have a show yesterday. But what did you guys think? If you had to give a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F, to the halftime show, give me some letters. I need to see. What letter did you give the halftime show? Kendrick Lamar, not only all sorts of messages in his music, but he also took digs at his arch enemy Drake in that. So if you know anything about the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef, that was also all permeated throughout his performance. So I'm surprised I'm seeing so many A's and A pluses. Wow. I didn't even give it an A plus. Here's my take on it. We'll get right on into the show because this is not the main topic. But My take on it was this. I believe that the Kendrick Lamar halftime show was a show for under 40 hip hop lovers. If you're over 40, or if you're not a big fan of hip hop, you couldn't understand what he was saying. I mean, he's rapping and he's getting his point across. But I do believe that non hip hop fans, they say, for instance, you're watching a game and you like country music or you like scream metal or some shit like that, you wouldn't have been able to understand what he was saying. So most of the messages in his music and things like that would have went right in one ear and out the other because his rap is, I mean, he just won 5 Grammys for that diss track. I mean, so he's a very successful musician, but his music ain't, his rap lyrics are not super clear because I had to listen up to it. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, if you're over 40, this probably ain't gonna be probably you're not gonna have a whole lot of people over 40 saying this is a great show. But nevertheless, I see a whole bunch of A's and A+s in my comments, and I got a lot of folks that watch me that are over 40, so maybe I'm wrong on that. Anyhow, getting into the show, a whole lot has been going on since we last talked on Friday. Number one thing you see on the monitor behind me, we got Department of Government Efficiency. Isn't that a little cute doggy they're using? I guess Elon Musk wants to be a watchdog, and that's what he certainly is. I'm going to ask you folks, is he qualified? I'm going to ask you simple. I know the guy has an insane amount of money. He's the wealthiest person on earth. Is he qualified for what he's doing? Is he the right choice for what he is doing? I want to ask that question right off the bat because they're not auditing organizations. They're taking them down. Now, I heard someone make a reference that I think made a lot of sense, and you guys can let me know if I'm getting this wrong and what your opinion of it is. But the mindset was, because Elon brought a whole bunch of nerds and they're going into the treasury and they want to be able to go through the records and see if they can find where government waste is. But they're more like programmers. They're more like computer science nerds. My question is this, and this is what I received, and it made a hell of a lot of sense to me. If you're going to do an audit based on financial waste, wouldn't you show up with a bunch of accountants as opposed to computer programmers? Where are all the accountants at? Those are the ones that are known for doing numbers and detecting waste. Why doesn't he have a bunch of accountants with him? So that is something that was presented to me, and I think that did make sense. The fact that he has programmers with him as opposed to accountants makes it appear as if he's trying to do something else, as if he's trying to change the language of something, alter code or do something. Where are all the accountants at? That's who deals with numbers. Where are all of the accountants at? So I'm asking, simply put, is Elon Musk qualified for this position? All of his folks he brought are all under 30. I don't know. They're going to be dealing with some very sensitive information. I suppose they're all reliable in that. Have any of them taken an oath or anything like that? I mean, do we really know who these people are? Is Elon Musk qualified? That's what I'm asking. So, and I want to hear from you folks, if you suggest he is or is not, why do you maintain that opinion? We're going to talk about that, but I certainly have a whole lot of questions to ask in regards to Elon Musk. Is he qualified for the position? Because it does seem like he's on more of a mission of destruction as opposed to a mission of surgery to get rid of, let's say, a wasteful tumor in government. You don't kill the patient to get rid of the tumor. So he doesn't seem like he's trying to perform surgery to correct an issue. He sounds like he's attempting to kill the patient. So I want to hear from you folks. Also, in addition to that, AJ, good evening. AJ says, laughing my ass off. You people stay mad at the wrong stuff. AJ, I would be curious to know what is the wrong stuff. I'd let it bring you up, AJ. I don't know how to do that on here, but if you put in a request, we'll certainly have a conversation. Also, in addition to that, I want you guys to hear a clip. I think this one is quite interesting. It may be telling, and I want to hear from you folks. Where do you think this one? What do you think this one means? This is Trump, Brett Baird. Now, he had an interview with Brett Baird. There's a whole bunch of really good snippets that came out of this. So we're going to be playing this more than once, different parts of it. Here's President Trump on something that should be surprising.
All right, now more of Brett Baird's exclusive Super Bowl interview with President Trump. Here's a preview of what we're going to see tonight on Special Report.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time we get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most.
And then he goes on and continues the conversation without talking about J.D. Vance. What the hell is that? Now, is that not what you select the vice president for? If something happens to you, they're a decent individual to successfully take your place. He's only 4 weeks in, and he's already saying that he does not see J.D. Vance as his successor. Wow. How is that not an eye-opener? And I guess the obvious question following up would be, well, who the hell does he see as his successor? I had somebody joke around and say he doesn't see J.D. Vance as a successor because he doesn't plan on having one. He's going to stay in office. I understand some folks may see that as a joke, but why would he be so soon saying that he does not see J.D. Vance as his successor? J.D. Vance hasn't failed or did anything wrong yet, has he? Can somebody explain that? In addition, like I said, there's a whole lot of topics. I didn't expect it to get this wild, but we're talking about President Trump. Now, we've covered his notion of taking control of Gaza. He's quadrupled down on that. That is not a joke. That is not hyperbole. He intends to take control of Gaza. And he's saying that I will own it. Not we. Not America. He's saying that I will own it. And he stated that the Palestinian people will not be able to return. I want to ask you folks flat out, do you think that this language could lead to things going boom in America or in our interests abroad? Literally going to take Gaza from the Palestinians. They are not allowed to return. They are not allowed to return. Now, he's talking about he's going to give them some really great land somewhere else or something like that. They don't want to move. They haven't been told where they're going to go. And why the hell would the Palestinian people ever trust Trump or any American president is bewildering. So we'll certainly discuss that. And last but not least, we'll end it. There's so many topics. We'll end it there. I had a bunch of topics, but I want to keep the show on course. So we'll go straight to AJ. Good evening, AJ. Welcome to the program. Now, you're saying we're paying attention to the wrong stuff. What should we be paying attention to?
This is what we wanted, right?
To take over Gaza?
No, I don't. I'm not talking about Gaza.
I am.
You brought up 3 topics. I'm trying to focus here.
Okay.
When I said what I said, you were talking about Doge.
Okay.
So that's what I was responding to in the comments, not the Gaza stuff.
Okay. So when you say we're not talking about what we should be, in regards to Doge, what are you talking about?
So this is, maybe, there's some older people, but this is the first time in my lifetime that I've actually seen someone go in and actually seek transparency. So I don't understand why that's a problem. Because once you understand where the money is actually going, and then you can get control of that and then say, okay, well, now we don't have to raise your taxes. Now we don't have to create and invent another tax out of nowhere just to get more money out of you. We don't have to raise. We don't have to. You can take home more of your money. I don't understand why that's an issue. That's not a Democrat or a Republican issue. That's an American issue. So if the American people want the transparency, which I voted for, I said, yeah, I want you to go in there and tell me how this money, where is it
Would you be just as happy if George Soros or Bill Gates was doing it?
George Soros won't. Really, you think I'm gonna trust George Soros?
You think we're gonna trust? We think we're gonna trust Elon Musk?
What has he done that's untrustworthy to this point? What has he done?
He is as biased as they come. He's not. He's not. Wait.
No. The question is, what has he done? That's the question.
Bias alone is enough.
We've seen the money George Soros has got, right, from the corruption so far, right? So if we've seen that, why would I trust George Soros? But show me what Elon Musk has done so far that is so bad that we need to sit up here and have these think tanks about him.
I think you're skipping over what I'm saying. He is biased.
I'm not skipping over what you're saying. You're saying he's not qualified. I mean, if you're a billionaire and you're still one many years later, I think that qualifies you to understand how money works.
So Bill Gates would be qualified.
Who?
Bill Gates.
I don't know him like that.
He got money. You know that.
Okay, great. Then if Bill Gates is qualified and he can go in there and truly do the job, then yes, put him in there.
Okay. And what's wrong with George Soros?
But again, you dodged my question for the second time. So what has Elon done to this point that is so alarming that everyone's running and jumping off the buildings?
Well, I could probably bring up the whole Heil Adolf salute that you would dismiss.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
We still on that? We still crying about that?
Yeah, yes, we are.
We still crying about I give my heart to you. We're still crying about that. I give my heart to you. Okay, we cried about it. Okay, what's next?
Well,
again, what does this have to do with Doge? Has he gone in there and give money to the Yahtzees?
We don't know.
Did he draw a budget line and say, okay, all of these billions of dollars we just uncovered is being misused. We're now going to donate to the German blah 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 strategic for studies on Schmittler.
Well, when you talk, the thing about it is the stuff you're asking, we don't know. We don't know if he's being transparent or not. Hold on.
Are you kidding me?
The fact is, all we know.
Now you create more propaganda.
Hold on, let me
Elon
respond.
Now has the power to dedicate a budget line to just give out. That's not how that works, and you know it. So stop acting like you don't know.
Well, they're doing all kinds of things that is not how that works. They're being told by judges constantly, what you're doing is unconstitutional. They're doing they've done several things.
Again, this goes right with the question that you still have not answered, because doing a salute on the stage does not mean it means what you think it means. It's just trying to distract yourself.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I need examples of what he's done that is like, oh yeah, I should take pause and ask questions about that. What should I do?
You don't think
when you're sending my money to South Africa for transgender LGBT studies, yeah, I got questions.
Okay, so
when those are the types of things that are being uncovered here.
So him rehiring.
Not only are you undermining
him rehiring a racist staffer, is that something we should just ignore too?
God, what racist staffer? Yes. What about the racist? Because y'all love y'all emotionalism.
The guy who claims that he was racist before it was cool. That guy.
So yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway.
Really?
So a racist person is on the staff. Okay, great. You've never worked with a racist?
I've never been the head of U.S. government.
Oh, now it's U.S. government, even though you still haven't answered my first question.
What is your first? I'm giving you answers. You just don't agree with them.
Oh, a racist person. Okay, so what's the racist person? Are they racist right now? I mean, y'all forgave the whole Klansman. Y'all said nothing when Obama helped eulogize them. So what are we talking about here?
I'm talking about a guy who's...
So if he was a racist, why are we talking about it today? He was a racist. That means past tense.
How do you know that?
Oh, I forgot. We don't get no redemption when you on the right. No redemption on the right. Everybody stay the same.
I remember talking to you specifically and having you bring up the 94 crime bill from Biden. You didn't give him any forgiveness. Why should this guy get one?
When did I ever say anything about
you talked to me? You just mentioned right now. You just hold on. You just mentioned right now that you just mentioned that Biden eulogized, Obama eulogized somebody. You just said that.
So when did Obama? When did Biden atone for that?
Oh man, by all of the people he hired, there were people of color.
Wait. So he got his half dead ass up in that office for 4 years.
Okay.
And you mean to tell me you can't point to any legislation that will undo what he did?
I don't get what you're saying. I don't understand that.
So if you hate the crime bill so bad, oh my God.
You do.
I said that?
Yes.
When?
You brought up the crime bill. You
Let's
just, in
go
fact,
to the videotape because I know I didn't say
okay.
that.
Let me just clear it up. You mentioned this guy may have used to be a racist and people can't atone, and then you also brought up that Obama eulogized somebody. So you didn't give Obama credit for atoning. Now all of a sudden you're giving this guy. Why are you doing that?
I never said no. See, you missed it. So yes, I believe that David Duke. Was it David Duke? I think it was him. No, not David Duke. That was the dude that eulogized, right?
No, that was Senator Byrd.
Yeah. Senator Byrd. So if Senator Byrd said he has atoned and he's no longer racist and all of that stuff and yada 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 and it's in his past and he demonstrates that it's in his past, who am I to say that you're still something?
Well, to me, Senator Byrd is a bad example because Obama was at that funeral. Jesse Jackson was at that funeral. He had a tone with the NAACP.
Why were they there? Why were they at the funeral if this man was a rabid racist?
Because he had longer tone than the Republicans are just using
he
it.
hates the blacks, but I'm gonna eulogize this motherfucker. That makes sense?
What? And now we should focus.
That makes sense to me.
I don't get
Nobody
your point.
showing up to that. Nobody in their right mind gonna show up to that.
Okay, I want you to hear this because this is what we're talking about. I think this might be what you. This is what you apparently you don't know about the guy he brought back.
Go ahead, Tim. Jump
and now we should focus to President Trump's closest ally, Elon Musk. The billionaire has been making headlines over the actions of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, which he now leads. Now, from being accused of overreach into federal departments to demanding fatigue-inducing work hours from DOGE employees, Elon Musk has not having a good week. In fact, now Musk and DOGE are caught in another controversy. The senior DOGE employee was asked to leave the team after facing backlash over his previous posts on social media that were racist. Marco Elise, the former DOGE staffer, urged his followers on social media to quote-unquote normalize hate against Indians. According to an NPR report, Elise frequently boasted about his anti-Indian.
I can't hear you either. It sounds like the mic is off or something.
You can't hear me?
I hear you, but it's like really low. It's like the mic is off or something.
Can anybody else on TikTok? I know my YouTube audience. Can you guys? Everybody can hear me on TikTok. Everybody else said yeah, they all say they can hear me. So you got an audio issue going on.
Can you run it back? I missed it.
Okay, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go back to where they started talking about this. Okay, here we go.
Backlash over his previous post on social media that were racist. Marco Elise, the former DOGE staffer, urged his followers on social media to quote unquote normalize hate against Indians. According to an NPR report, Elise frequently boasted about his anti-Indian.
You still can't hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't say anything. I'm listening.
Okay, all right.
And anti-immigration stance, and he once tweeted, quote, "I was racist before it was cool," end quote. Now, Elise is a 25-year-old software engineer who was working for DOGE and was given access to the Treasury Department, where he had access to sensitive banking data of millions of Americans. The NPR report further suggests that Elise enjoys close relations with Elon Musk, and the two have previously worked together at SpaceX. The White House official has now confirmed Elise's resignation from DOGE. However, Americans and Democrats are
okay, he resigned when he got caught up in that stuff. Elon Musk brought him back. Should we ignore that?
How long ago were the tweets? This man's 25.
I think it was last year sometime. They're less than a year old.
Oh, so they're recent tweets.
Yeah.
So yeah, he should be gone. So what are we talking about?
Elon Musk brought him back.
Because the reason, well, okay, great for him. So the reason why he should be gone is because this is just a distraction, right? I'm concerned about the results I'm getting. I don't give a fuck about who's doing it. So if you're doing it legit and you're not messing it up and you're not corrupt yourself, then let's go. I don't care. Y'all focus on the emotionalism and cry me a river about who don't like me. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Did you do the job?
Okay, here's why I disagree with you. First of all, the guy is admitting to be racist, so you can assume that any kind of money or contribution. You don't think he's racist? You don't think he's racist?
So all the racist black people in this world, we should just not hire them either?
I think you would not be a fan of it.
Racism comes in all forms.
Wait a minute. Let me get some. Right? Hold on. Let me make sure I get this clear. Do you believe this guy's racist at all?
I don't know him. Do I know him? Have I had a conversation?
So he might not be racist in your opinion.
First of all, you can write down shit and people interpret it how they want to. Now, if he meant it, then say you meant it. Own it up. Own it like a motherfucking man and deal with the consequences. I don't care. This is not an issue for me. What I'm concerned about, this is what I'm concerned about. $521 billion in annual fraud. That's what I'm concerned about.
Okay, here's my.
I don't give a fuck if someone tweeted something a year ago that I don't like. I don't care.
Okay, here's why.
They're giving away money to Serbian LGBTQ rights groups, electric vehicles for Vietnam, HIV transgender research in South Africa. That's what I care about. Why is my money going there?
Okay, here's why.
I'm not crying a river because some white man don't like me.
I get your passion.
If that's the case, if you're looking for a nirvana, you're never going to have it.
Okay, are you done? You got any more in there?
Well, you keep cutting me off. I'm trying to go over the list.
Go ahead. Give me the rest of it.
Why do I have to pay for Egyptian tourism? Why do I got to pay for Sesame Street shows in Iraq? What does that got to do with me? Okay. Moroccan pottery classes, tourism for Lebanon. What does this got to do with us American taxpaying citizens? They're literally taking our money under our noses, and we're concerned about a fucking racist tweet?
Okay.
Priorities out of order.
Okay. I love the passion, but here's the reason why I have a major issue with this, whereas you do not. If someone is making statements about like normalize Indian hate, guess what's going to be the first thing he cuts throughout the budget? Any money going to any Indian cause, they're not going to get. Hold on. I let you go through the list. The same thing you say, I don't care if the guy doesn't like me as long as he gets the budget under wraps. You can assume that if you don't like people like you, everything about you is going to be wiped out the budget. So he's going to target stuff that favors people like you. So that's why I don't want a racist determining our budget. It's because he's going to use that in his calculations.
Okay, so let's just forget that I said that if he tweeted that, he should man up, own it, and deal with the consequences. Did I not say that? I believe I said that, right?
But you believe.
If the consequence is you lose your job, or you get reprimanded, or you get dragged by the media, or whatever the fucking consequence is, you deal with that. I'm focused here.
But you're okay with him still being on Elon's team.
Did I say I'm okay? I don't care. I said I don't care.
That's okay. That's you're okay with it.
Because you have no proof that he said, okay, Indian hate, blah, blah, blah. Cut all the Indian. First of all, he has no power to cut shit. He's just making suggestions.
AJ, he resigned himself. He didn't deny it. The guy resigned.
He was the final call on the budget. This random white man that y'all want to attack because he's a racist is the final say in what goes and what doesn't. And you okay with South African transgender HIV research, $30 million of your fucking money going to that, and you worried about some one person on the whole damn staff? You worried about that? That's the highlight here. Not all these billion, not $500 billion that you done accounted for. That's not the problem here, y'all. Oh, we got a bigot.
I can guarantee. I feel confident with this, AJ.
We got a bigot here.
AJ, I feel confident that if this guy, let me know when you're ready. Let me know. Get your laugh out. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
I feel fairly confident that if this guy was caught saying this stuff less than a year ago, and Elon Musk is bringing him back, he's not the only one on the team like this.
Great,
hold on. I wasn't done.
Is that a more sufficient answer so we could move on from the one racist in the whole staff?
You didn't hear the answer. You started talking over me. You didn't hear the answer. I stated I feel confident that if this guy said all this racist stuff and Elon brought him on the team, he said it less than a year ago. If Elon brought him back, I feel confident he's not the only one on the team like this, is what I'm telling you. He's not the only one.
Here we go. Now everyone has credibility issues because the person I happen to be working with said some dumb shit. So now it's my fault too.
All right.
Oh, the wrong shit. So we're getting this government waste exposed, and the problem is one person on the staff of how many people?
The boss didn't get rid of him is the problem.
Okay, all right. Did the reporter for this talk about any of the shit that's been exposed?
No.
Oh, okay. So the priority is the one allegedly racist motherfucker on the staff. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Y'all, America, when did we get so dumb?
The moment we got racist, I gotta move it on. Give you the last word. You know what I gotta do.
Oh God. What's the last word? I done said a lot of words.
All right, AJ, listen, anytime, man. Good to see you on this side. I'll talk to you anytime, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Anytime. We don't agree on shit, but he's always welcome on the program. That's how we run the program, folks. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You can be critical of anybody on the program, including the host. So understand we are about free speech here. You know what I say on every show. We are, always will be MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Always will be. So if you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, feel free to follow the program on TikTok. We're on Instagram Live and also on YouTube horizontal and vertical. Looking in the comments, Joseph Miller, he'd be okay to be back in chains if he could save $5. Ooh, look. He certainly turns a blind eye to what's clearly racist comments. Like it would be different if this stuff was, he's 25. If the guy said this shit when he was 13 or something like that, but he just said this stuff last year. He didn't apologize for it. He resigned and stepped down. So he actually took ownership of it. Elon Musk brought him back on the team. Now, before I go to my next caller, my last caller, AJ, had a point. Who gives a damn if he's racist or not, as long as he's saving us money? Well, like what my viewer stated, whereas he would be okay with us being back in chains if he could save $5. I used to be told back in the days when I was on my knees shooting street dice, hitting them sevens, hitting them points. I had somebody, all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And I will tell you with a fair bit of confidence, if this dude actually means this stuff he's saying, when he's cutting waste in the budget, he ain't doing it equally. If he don't see equality in skin color, he ain't gonna see it on paper either. He's going to see causes that help Indian folks that he's talking about, normalize Indian hate. All of that shit is waste. All of it's waste. So if he doesn't see things clear based on skin color, he's not going to see it clear on paper. He's a biased adjuster, that's why I don't favor him. Going back to the box though. So the idea that, well, who gives a damn what he thinks as long as he's clearing the butt? No, he's not doing it from a position of equality. He's doing unfair shit behind the scenes. Going to the box, we'll keep it moving with the one and only DJ Julio. Good evening, welcome to the program. I think I hit him. Actually, I hit Dencal. Dencal, good evening. Notice how all bad spelling is somehow DEI. Everything bad that a person of color does is going to be DEI from now on. Just understand that. It's always DEI when the person of color does something wrong, or a woman, or LGBTQ. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Man, it's rough out here today. Did you hear my last caller?
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of it, and I heard you earlier in one of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's rough out here in these streets.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
I'm gonna call them streets, not streets. These streets is tough out here, bro.
Yeah,
this man telling you he don't give a damn about the people making the policies. He don't give as long as they tell him they finding billions of dollars of waste. He comfortable with that, even though we don't.
Oh shit! Hang on.
It is waste. Even if it is waste, he ain't gonna never get a part of it.
That's a great point, Dinka. That's what I said in the beginning of the show. I don't care how much money they're bragging about saving us. If you don't see it personally to benefit your life, it's irrelevant. They can tell you they tell you they saved us $1 trillion. If you still got to work 2 jobs and you're still struggling, who the hell cares? It's meaningless.
Right, and we know, we know because they told us what they were going to do. They're going to do all of this. We saving money just to give the 1% a big ass tax break so they can make more money. It's never going to filter down to the people. There's never going to be any types of programs designed to help the American, any type of anything. Not helping people with their student loan, not help people with their mortgage, not help people with their rent, not help people with cheaper food. They ain't talking about none of that shit.
No.
But he talking about, they saving us billions, so I don't care what they do.
You know, it kind of remind me of the old Geico commercials where somebody would be talking about something and they would say, I just saved 15% on my insurance, and it was totally irrelevant to the conversation. Like, I don't give a damn about you saving 15% on your insurance if I'm in a burning building. It would be stuff like that. And that's what this sounds like Well, we're taking all of this happiness out of them saving money when it doesn't change your life at all.
Right. Anything that's supposed to matter to the human condition, he's okay with it just because they told him they saving us money. Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Well,
they saving us money so they can give it to themselves.
I think I think what it really is that it ain't really being concerned that the money's going to come back and benefit them. They're taking more pleasure in the fact that you're taking money from people we don't agree with or we hate. You're sticking it to the liberals. You're not supporting the LGBTQ. You don't have to give me a dime. If I know you're sticking it to the liberals and you're getting rid of LGBTQ causes, I don't care if I don't make a penny from that. I'm happy it's happening. That's what I think the mindset is.
Yeah, but I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that was the part of the reason why I just I listen to some of these guys who, especially the men of color, because I'm trying to understand their logic.
That was Black MAGA. That was Black MAGA right there.
Right. When they're acting like they've literally act like they won the lottery, like their lives have been improved, like their generations have somehow become better, because these people that we know, Elon Musk, he's not even really an American. He doesn't give two shits about Americans.
Now before
giving him the keys to the castle to let him go through everything, even though he has all of these conflicts of interest. He's in crypto, he's in this Neuralink, he's in Starlink, he's doing all of this stuff. The stuff that we would all collectively be able to say, that's not the motherfucker we want in charge.
But let me ask you something. Now, you and I have been talking for quite a while. You go back on the program, and I certainly appreciate you supporting the program and calling in often. But I got to ask, are we talking too much? Because here, Daddy T is at home. I guess that means Daddy Trump. He states, Tim, get new callers. So tired of hearing whining black dudes. What is he? Do I have a lot of whining black dudes on the program?
I would say to that person, look, and I'm not in charge of the people that come on your show, but it sounds like he need to find another show.
Yeah.
If he can't understand that there's going to be a dialogue, and the person that's hosting the show happens to be a black man, then yes, your opinion and your point of view might come out in the wash. Yeah. So if he doesn't want to hear how black people think, then he should find a white person that loves Trump and just stay over there.
Wow. And I will say this, I mean, because we're also on Instagram Live as well. Come on Instagram Live. Doesn't matter what your race or your opinion is politically. We'll bring you up. You just saw what happened last time. So come on. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. The show has always been ran that way. But I thought his comment was controversial, so I figured I'd give you the floor on it for a minute. Whining black dudes.
Right. I mean, if we're giving our perspective on a show that's about different perspectives, I don't understand what he's complaining about, because he can just as easily swipe up or down, and I ain't trying to make you lose.
No, you good.
Like that. But yeah, like I don't even get that. Like if you don't, if I don't like seeing people that are in control of our country's budget and stuff like that doing the Smittler salute, then I'm just not going to, I'm not going to engage. But I do care. Yeah. I do want, people should know, like that's not acceptable to a certain, group of people.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. That the idea that the guy can be racist if he wants, as long as he's curbing the budget. I agree with what one of my viewers said. Is like, this dude sounds like he would be okay with us being back in chains if you could save $5. I mean, all money ain't good money. Just because somebody's giving you money don't mean you should ignore every damn thing they're doing. And that's what it seems like a large portion of America has turned to. If you save us money, you can do whatever the hell you want. This is the whole thing about, pay attention to what he does, ignore the mean tweets. As long as the economy is good, he should be able to insult and say anything he wants about anybody. Like, do we focus on anything else other than money?
Right. And I mean, it would be different. I would advise those people who have those point of views to just continue down that rabbit hole of when they find the money, what are they going to do with it to improve our lives? Just because they say they finding money, like I just talked to somebody today that's in civil service that's having this hard time with this buyout or early, whatever they calling it.
Right.
Like these are people's lives that are being affected who are scared to make a decision because they don't know if they're going to have a job. And these people, like this is actually affecting people, and they making it seem like when they say they finding waste, that there's just some magic room that's full of money that people been hiding, and they just open up the door and look, here's all of this money. Like that, when they say waste, those are people's lives.
Yep. And I said that before on the show. Every time you hear them bragging about, like what my last caller was talking about, I don't want money going to this or money going. Every time something like that is stopped, that's an American losing their job. That ain't just waste you're pointing at. You're also talking about Americans' jobs are in that waste. I mean, he's firing people. That's what's happening. People are losing their jobs all over the damn place. So I don't know if that's something you should celebrate.
Right. And now he done went as far as to mess with the USAID, which is aid to foreign countries, which these people are like, yeah, stop saving starving people in Africa or Zimbabwe. Let's stop. We don't need to help nobody except for Americans. But when they do stop that money and them people go to starving, they still not gonna help Americans.
Nope. And I will say that the one reason why we are a superpower is because we do pay the cost to be the boss. Yeah. By the way, JPT Farms, appreciate the hat mustache. We pay the cost to be the boss. So that's the reason why we have bases on every continent. We got ships in every sea. If all of a sudden we ain't doing shit for nobody, well, then why the hell we got a base here? Why are we looking out for you? They're going to start taking the same stance that Trump is taking. Why are we giving you and you're doing nothing for us? So
that's exactly what's starting to happen around the world. If they're saying countries like China and Russia are happy that we are pulling out USAID because guess what? They're filling in the void. They're shipping these people food and supplies. And everybody knows a way to find loyalty from people is to give a starving people some food.
Yeah. No,
the Chinese people ain't hurting them, so all of that America talking about China's getting over on us and everything. Those other countries, once everybody starts filling the void, the vacuum left by American generosity, the whole world would turn against us. And regardless of how people think, like we the world's power, they gonna suffer before we suffer and everything. We not used to suffering. We are spoiled as a nation.
Yeah. It is.
We start really, really hurting. You see how we was about $5 gas? I mean, folks was about to jump off of buildings. Just imagine if we alienate, all the OPEC and everybody, and they just cut us off and just say, you on your own devices. It's not going to turn out well for America.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. We're not used to we're not used to having war on our soil. We're not used to the famine and the hardships of other countries. Like you mentioned, even $5 gas drove us crazy, but they've been paying that kind of money in Europe and in Australia, places like that. They're used to it. And right. Those are first world countries. But what happens in the developed world? Yeah, Americans would be jumping off of high rises and slitting their throats on the way down. I mean, we're just not acclimated to that stuff.
Right. And what they did when they cut off the USAID is they didn't realize all of that stuff we were sending to those countries was products made in America by our farmers. So the farmers were being subsidized to provide the stuff for USAID. Now that they cut off the funding, all of those farmers is now looking stupid, talking about, I can't believe I made a mistake in voting for Trump. But we all said it from the beginning. We said it 1,000 times. Just it's not going to just affect who you think it is, the people you hate. So you're coming to your doorstep too.
Sound like I'm here and fuck around and find out a little bit in that.
Hey, it is what it is, and I don't want to be like them and gloat when these things happen because I know that real Americans are going to be affected by this stuff that have nothing to do with this stuff. They don't even follow politics, and these people are going to be hurt. I feel like I'm in a good position, and it's not going to necessarily hurt me as much as a lot of other people, but I still have empathy, which I sense a lack of in all of these people running around like they won the lotto because they voted for Trump and he won. You didn't win anything.
No, they think they want. Well, the belief is that they want America back, and that Kamala Harris was going to destroy every damn thing. So they believe that that's the victory.
Right, but they could. All I would say to them is they need to sit down and think to themselves, what if I am wrong?
Well, we'll see what happens there. By that point, though, it might be a little bit too late. I got to move it on, then, Cal. It'll be too late. Right. It'll be too late. So I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully, you're not a whining black guy. How about that? All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Joseph Miller, did you see our bros and sisters fighting in Cincinnati? No. What happened in Cincinnati? I do remember down in Birmingham, Alabama, a couple years back. Remember the guy was the security guard of the docks, and this white boating crew didn't want to move, and they attacked the security guard. All of a sudden, brothers are jumping in the water, swimming across the beach. I mean, it was a melee. I do remember that one, but what happened in Cincinnati? I have not heard that one. Going on with the program, by the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 25. See if we can make that happen. Tap the screen, get the likes up on the program. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. You know what I always say, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We're asking the question in regards to balancing the budget, I guess, getting rid of waste for this great nation. Do you believe Elon Musk is qualified to do so? And if so, based on what? If not, why do you say that? We're talking about Elon Musk. Now, in addition to Elon Musk, I'm also asking, I played this clip earlier before I go back to the next caller. I just don't know what to do with this one, but it is worthy of discussing because this undoubtedly will be important in the future.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. Basically, the United States.
Actually, that's the wrong clip. That's not the clip I wanted to play. That obviously is another one. I mean, it's just amazing at how many things that Trump says. I don't know if I got the clip queued up. I may not have it. Okay. If not, I'll discuss what I'm talking about. And that is President Trump saying that J.D. Vance, he don't see J.D. Vance as his successor. And what the hell does that mean?
All right, now more of Brett Baer's exclusive Super Bowl interview with President Trump. Here's a preview of what we're going to see tonight on Special Report.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time you get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff happening.
We've done so much
And he never talks about J.D. Vance again. You know, I got to wonder, what is J.D. Vance thinking when he's hearing this shit? I mean, it's Trump and Elon Musk on television day in and day out. I mean, it's pretty clear that J.D. Vance has been pushed to the side. Now he's on TV saying that J.D. Vance is not even going to be a successor, and he's only been in office for 4 weeks. Damn, he got rid of J.D. Vance quick. How does that look if you're J.D. Vance? Now, when Vance is going around doing his own town halls and meeting with voters, you don't think they're going to ask that question? Like, he done already told us you are not going to be the successor. What is your job? Remember when Kamala Harris was running, everybody was talking about, well, she ain't done shit. What did she do? This guy is already making it clear that there is no future in the White House with J.D. Vance. 4 weeks in. Wow. And I see in the comments, Rachel says Trump wants Elon Musk as president. Yikes. Joseph Miller, appreciate the super chat, says schmazzies. I wish I could say the regular word, but you know the censors. Schmazzies, the group of folks over in Germany back in the 1930s and 40s. Schmazzies came to the hood hanging flags. I am aware of that. Black folks chased them out. Even took one of their Jeeps. Yes, I did. Oh, that's what you were talking about. Yes, I did hear about that. Burned the flag as well. But this is something that folks have been saying. Why does it appear, at least, where some of these hate groups seem to be emboldened and feel comfortable to come out and do that? They did that on the streets of, I think, Columbus not long ago. They did it in Nashville not long ago. Now, you have a right to free speech, but walking down the street waving how do I say this shit without triggering the censors? The Third Reich symbol, a swastika. I guess I'm trying to come up with words to make this shit work, but waving a swastika, a whole bunch of dudes in masks doing that, is going to be provoking. Oddly enough, you know how many folks had a problem had a problem wearing masks during the COVID mandate? These people sure don't seem to have a problem wearing a mask when they're out there preaching hate. Are they not proud of what they represent? Why do they gotta hide their faces? I mean, is it okay to just come out and tell folks, listen, I'm the police chief of a small town and I also believe in the Third Reich, or, I run the park district. Why not come out and admit who you are? Why do you gotta wear a mask? Even Black Lives Matter wasn't doing that. Let me go back to the box. Again, he did not say he won't endorse Vance. He said it's too soon. What the hell? No, he did say. He said no. What do you mean he said he would not endorse Vance? Did you hear what he said?
Now more of Brett Baer's exclusive Super Bowl interview with President Trump. Here's a preview of what we're going to see tonight on Special Report.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but
That's it. He said no. He said straight up no. I don't even see him as my successor. Wow. And you're trying to spin that, huh? Let me go back to the box. Trying to spin that to mean something else. Bless your heart, as my grandma used to say. Continuing on with the program, though. DJ Julio, good evening. Welcome to the program. Anyways, good night. It's been a pleasure to comment along. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate the support. Come on back anytime. DJ Julio, good evening.
What's happening?
Man, a lot apparently. Now,
yeah, I hear you. I do want to say first, before we get too far, I can't give gifts. TikTok won't let me buy shit, and it's still not on my Play Store, so I can't buy the coins or the coins to get the gifts.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't really messed up things with me on TikTok. I don't know. I mean, people can't subscribe. They can't do anything. I don't know how long that's going to go, but it's been going on for quite a while already.
Yeah. It's been since it shut down, came back up. Yeah. I haven't been able to buy it. I've tried to gift you 100 times, but it won't let me buy it. Secondly, going back to Rachel. Now, I want you to be careful that you're not listening for things that you want to hear and seeing things that you want to see, because if you go back and it's a long ways up. Now, Rachel didn't say she wants Elon as president. She said he wants Elon as vice president.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Rachel in the comments. Okay, yeah. Well, all right, fair enough. But he's saying that
that's what I'm saying is you got to be careful not to see what you're looking for.
But think about but even if what you're saying is true, he doesn't want him as president. He wants him as vice president. Then that means he's going to be the successor, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't think that's the case either. I don't think Rachel's right in her comment. I'm just saying that you got to be a little bit careful. And even with this Donald Trump thing, he did say no, but he's doing a great job, and it's too early to see him as that right now. We just started 3 weeks ago.
Right, you just started, and you're already saying you don't see the VP as your successor. What the hell will make you say that?
He's not looking at that he's not looking at him for that right now. He's looking at him to be the vice president and do his job that way. That's why
is the main goal. About to call you Elon. DJ, that's the main goal of the VP, is to be there on day one if something happens to the president. You have to look at him as your successor. That's what happens if they didn't pierce his ear and they actually get him in the head next time. JD Vance comes up out of the bullpen. So what do you mean you're not 100%. Looking at him as your successor?
100%. Now, Tim, when you start a new job, and let's say you get hired in as the president of said job, are you going to immediately look at your vice president and say, yeah, he's my successor? Or are you going to say, I'm the president right now, I'm not focused on that? Because that's what Trump is saying.
What? Every president will tell you that my VP is capable of the job. And that's who... In 4 weeks?
Play that back again because he said that. Play that back again because he says that right after he says, but. Go back like 10 seconds.
Bears exclusive Super Bowl interview with President Trump. Here's a preview of what we're going to see tonight on Special Report.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time we get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff
Well,
happened.
we've done so much so fast, and we really had to, because they have really, what they've done to our country is so sad.
He's not even talking about him no more. He pretty much said no, said, there's plenty of people that are capable, and then he changed the subject.
Because he's focused on what he's doing now as the president. He's not worried about anything now. He's worried about what he's doing. And Tim, you would do the same thing.
No, hell no.
Yes, you would.
No, there's no way in the hell I'm going to tell people in week 4 that I already don't see my VP as my successor. No.
He's not looking for that. Well, and you know that he's going to get his 3rd term. So that's the other reason.
What?
Yeah.
So you do believe that Trump is going to pursue a 3rd term?
I believe that Congress is going to make it available for him to run a 3rd time. Yes.
You're the first person I've talked to this.
And not just him. And not just him. I mean, this might be, a Democrat next time. That actually wins, and he gets to do a 3rd, but he can't run it consecutive. So the way that they're wording it in Congress right now is, if you're a president and you don't run consecutively back to back, and you get elected again, you can then run again and do it again.
Do you have any problems with that at all?
No, because let me just say why I don't. I don't have a problem with 12 years as a president, because 12 years you can actually get some shit done.
What?
And Obama can't run against him because he had consecutive back-to-back.
So, and we know that the only reason they're writing the consecutive part in there is to isolate Obama from it. We know what they're doing. They're not. If you want to say, look, you can have 12 years to get some shit done, then why are you putting the consecutive shit in there? Is it possible that maybe Obama could get some shit done with 12 years? You're literally writing the language to benefit you and isolate other people.
Obama would only have, if he ran, and like I said, I didn't like everything about Obama, but I didn't hate Obama as our president. I didn't dislike him. I thought Trump was better. He's more brass. He's more, he's got some fucking balls, and he's not afraid to stand up to the world. And he's shown us that.
How do you respond to folks like Jackie, who says you can't make up laws and rules? Because one of the main things that Democrats are trying to vote against Trump for is he was a threat to democracy. You're kind of admitting that that's at risk now by saying this guy's going to get a 3rd term. He is changing things. That's something that we haven't entertained for almost 100 years, a president being able to run a 3rd term. So he is changing things.
I agree. It's a slippery slope. I don't know how I feel about it 100%.
You already said how you feel about it.
I don't think I would mind so much. I mean, I know, but I'm trying to look at it through your preview now that we've had a conversation. And I still, in my mind, I don't see if Trump is getting as much done as he's getting done now. And I don't think that we can scoff at him too awful much and say that the shit that he's doing and has done and what Elon has found, Elon and his we'll call it the team. I don't think that there's anything bad about that.
Well, the problem is
anything bad yet.
Well, the problem is you're saying that he's getting things done and he hasn't done anything bad yet. Changing democracy is bad, DJ. If all of a sudden you're changing the way our democracy is ran, that's bad. So he is doing something bad. You're just okay with it.
Is it bad or is it progressive? Is it evolving because we're evolving?
No, it's evolving because you got. Go ahead.
In the amount of fight that we have to get anything done in this fucking country, whether it's Congress holding us up or it's the House holding us up or the Senate holding us up or we got judiciary shit that's holding us up. Some of the shit that is important to change, it might take 4 years, and it might not take that long. It might take 6 years. And if you get somebody in there that is like, I was benefiting off of that program, so I want to install it again. so that I can continue benefiting, that does us no damn good.
If it's so popular, you don't need Trump to have a third term. So if it's that great, the next guy will realize it and have to do it as well. You don't keep letting him run over. You don't keep letting him be, because if what he's doing is so great that a third term is not a bad idea, you won't think a fourth term is bad either.
Well, at that point, you've established everything in those.
Yeah, right. You say that now.
It's 12 total years.
Like, you say that now.
He doesn't get to do 12 from this last one. He gets to do 4 more. Same as Obama. If Obama came back, he'd get to do 4 more.
You're making me dizzy. You're making me dizzy. You're spinning the hell out of this shit.
The thought about it made me dizzy too. And I had to go back and forth, and I agree. It's in the Constitution that you serve 2 terms. I don't disagree with it.
This is the whole
thing. I disagree a little bit.
Julio,
I disagree a little bit.
This is why people were saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. Birthright citizenship is in the Constitution as well. The funding the federal funding that he's getting rid of that was approved by Congress, what he's doing there is unconstitutional. This is why people are saying he's a threat to democracy. He's not following the laws. You got a judge right now that actually ruled against him canceling all federal funding. And the judge is saying he's not even following my orders, even though we told him he cannot do that. They're still doing it anyway. I mean, so this is why people keep saying he's a threat to democracy. He's like, I'm going to do what I think is best for America. The hell with the laws or any judge that says otherwise. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
You can't stop frivolous spending without stopping the spending completely. It'll all get turned back on. It'll all
you can't it doesn't matter how frivolous the spending is, DJ.
Are you married? Are you married?
No.
Okay. Have you had a girlfriend for a long period of time at any point?
Yeah.
Did you guys share expenses?
Somewhat.
If she got out of hand, would you stop her spending in order to fix your budget?
I wouldn't throw the girl away. That's what he's doing.
No. But you would stop the spending, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it under control.
Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what our elected officials, the mandate that 76 million of us decided we wanted Trump and his idea for the future of America, that it looked better through his eyes and through his preview.
I get all of that, DJ, but what I'm saying is the law is still the law. Just because you voted for Trump and for him to get spending under control doesn't mean he gets to do it by any means necessary. If the courts say what you're doing is unconstitutional, it doesn't matter what you voted for. He can't just do that. He's breaking laws to do this stuff.
Right, but as the Constitution sits, how many amendments have there been over the 100 years?
Well, then get an amendment. You can't do it without the amendment.
Right, and that's what will eventually happen. It'll end up going to Congress, and the Senate and the House will decide on it all, because the judiciary is completely separate from our government. They hold up our laws of the land.
But would you agree that would you not agree that until he gets the amendment, he's breaking laws?
No, because he said he was going to do exactly what he was doing. He was going to shake up the
whole system. If I say I'm going to break in your house tonight and not do it because I said it ahead of time, it's not a law? What are you talking about?
He said he was going to stop the waste. And what is it, $56 million? Or what is it? What did somebody else say?
What is your definition of breaking a law, Julio?
It's exactly like yours.
No, it's not. You said what you just said today.
He is above right now.
Yeah, keep going. You're getting it right now. Keep going.
You're damn right. He's above the law. He's our president. You know what? Biden was above the law. He was our president. And look at what they fucking did to our country.
So he is indeed.
Look at the spending. Look at the spending. We're freaking Sesame Street. How many millions for Sesame Street? How many millions for condoms in a different country that we're paying for? It's all fucking stupid, Tim.
All right.
They've been robbing us. Now, instead of talking about how Trump might be fucking this up, why don't we talk about how he's cleaning it up?
I'm not going to
listen. In there with his young people that know coding, so that they can write a code that they can check all of the spending all at once.
I'm not going to listen. Just because he's saving me money don't mean I'm going to be okay with him violating the Constitution and being a threat to democracy. This is just like what people keep saying. It's like, as long as he give you guys money, y'all overlook any damn thing. All you're focused on is money.
Well, yeah, I'm tired of spending money overseas when we don't need to be spending money overseas. You know, these damn Democrats, And I'm not talking about your viewers. I'm talking about the Democrats in the office.
I get it.
The Democrats that are at our capitals. They're
I'm
freaking
not
making
throwing
money
away-
hand over fist. They're making money hand over fist, pushing this money overseas.
I'm not
throwing
Julio. I'm not DJ Julio. I'm not throwing away money. I mean, I'm not throwing away democracy so I can make a few extra bucks. I like the.
What if our democracy's wrong?
Then we fix democracy first. We don't just let him decide on his own. We fix democracy first.
That's exactly what he's doing.
No, it's not. No, it ain't what he's doing.
76 million.
He's doing what he want to do.
76 million votes.
Huh?
Based on our 76 million votes, he is doing exactly what we want him to do.
Skirt democracy.
He's going to fix democracy. It's going to take us back to a republic, which is way better.
You're scaring me. I gotta go. You just frightened the shit out of me with that conversation. DJ, thanks for coming through.
Yes, sir.
All right. And by the way, what he stated, I'll go and I got a whole little rant before I go to the next caller on that. Tap the screen. Give me up to 30,000. Y'all can do that on TikTok. Dennis Calhoun said the whole purpose of a vice presidential pick is to be a replacement on day one. If not, why pick him? 100% agree. It's only been 4 weeks in, and he's already saying he don't see Elon as his successor. That's crazy. Ask DJ if he will be cool with the next Democrat getting rid of the Second Amendment. No, I can tell you the answer to that already. No. He's okay with democracy being tossed out the window if it's done so in a way that he deems beneficial. Not when it's done in a way he doesn't find to be beneficial. I will say this, my entire rant on that, and thank you, Calhoun, appreciate the support. Thank you very much. I will say this, in regards to my last caller, I don't think he's that unusual. I think probably a large portion of Trump supporters would agree with what he just stated. If Trump can stick it to the libs, get rid of wasteful spending, get rid of the LGBTQ stuff, secure the border, democracy be damned. He's doing what's right by the country. If he needs 2, 3, 4 more terms to get it done, hey, he's doing what's right. I do believe a large portion of MAGA would agree with what my last caller said. The problem is they would not agree if the other side was doing the same thing. And that's where the issue is that we're okay with changing the laws when it benefits us. But when we leave, we're going to knock it back down to 2 terms and how it used to be. If we ever leave. This is frightening, though. This is frightening because he's not the first caller I've had say that. I had somebody else tell me when I was joking with them that some MAGA wants Trump to be a king. And I had another viewer tell me probably, 3 or 4 months ago, before Trump was president. He got so much stuff done, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. I could see him being okay in office for the rest of his life. He's been that good. So I think a large portion of MAGA would agree with my last caller. I think if we were having this debate at a MAGA rally, at a Trump rally, and he said what he said, he would have got a large amount of applause. I do believe what he said, it resonates with a lot of MAGA. Looking in the comments, when it benefits the people. Yeah, and that's the problem, though, Ted, in the comments. You say when it benefits the people, it doesn't benefit every person. What Trump is doing, there's obviously a whole lot of people that are not benefiting by that. You get rid of the Department of Education, obviously you're firing people. It ain't benefiting them. It ain't benefiting all of the union employees you're talking about getting rid of. You ain't benefiting the people, you're benefiting certain people. There's a lot of people that are losing out with that stuff. And it's not like he has replacement jobs laying around for those folks. He's firing Americans. Some of these folks are becoming unemployed. Going to the box. By the way, Will G says, all this MAGA fluffing, a lot of fluffing. Trump ain't shit. I see it, and that's what Will G says, Trump ain't shit. Continuing on with the program, though, I can't pronounce the name, but I'll just say Mr. Knox. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Knox. How was the first name pronounced there?
Giacomo.
Giacomo, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Hey, I'm really going to be very, very brief, and I'm going to a city council meeting. As a matter of fact, where I live, a lot of Black people are not active politically on the other side of the spectrum, which is a sad commentary. But I want to start off with, again, very briefly, I really want us to retire this whole idea of a schmaltzy salute
number one, I'm a converted Jew. So I'm rather sensitive to anything anti-Semitic. So that would make my feelings go off first.
What was he doing? What was he doing, in your opinion?
Well, here's the thing. Are you old enough to remember the Honeymooners reruns back in the 80s?
Yeah, bang, zoom to the moon, yes.
Exactly. Watch the episode where he goes, bang, zoom. It's the exact same hand movement.
And him rehiring a guy that talked about normalizing Indian hate, you're okay with that too?
We'll move on to that in a second, but I mean, I want to talk about that later at some point. Although, let's say this much. The man fell upon his sword. Okay, he got dealt with. Bye, move on.
No, he didn't.
So I
Elon brought him back.
Too hard at. You brought him back?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you take that? How do you take that? That this guy said normalize Indian hate and I was racist before being racist was cool. He got caught. He stepped up and resigned, admitting his problem. And Elon said, no, bring him back. How do you view that? The same guy who said bang, zoom to the moon, right?
Well, I think you're making two different situations here. But here's the thing. I would want to crack his head open and say, what's going on in there? I cannot have a racist working for me. If these are your views, I don't want you around here. Okay. So you and I and everybody else on this panel are not privy to conversation you might be having with this little kid. Like, what's going on, bro? The guy sitting next to you is Indian. You know, programmers, after all, mostly Indian as it is.
And if the public don't know this conversation took place, how was the public supposed to view him bringing this guy back?
You know what? I don't know, but I'll say this much. As what someone said to me a long time ago, what's it got to do with the price of tea in China?
What does racism have to do with the price of tea? You're asking me. You're asking what does racism have to do with the price of tea in China? Is that what you're saying?
In this particular situation, yeah, because unless that individual is able to produce policy that diminishes my rights as a black man in America, all we're talking about is you're a meanie bobini. Okay, big deal. The minute he has an opportunity to create a policy that diminishes my rights and my ability to earn money in this country, I'm going to step up and say, no, get rid of his ass. Big time.
So if he is helping Elon Musk, if he's working at the Department of Government Efficiency with Elon, and he's helping pick out waste, you don't think he's going to view Indian waste? He admitted he hated Indians. You don't think he's going to treat their waste differently than the waste of whites?
Well, again, policy development. What power does he have to make policy?
You didn't answer the question.
None of them do. Musk doesn't have policy.
You didn't answer the question. You did not answer the question.
You know what? I don't believe he would.
Really?
As part of his job to look at a certain demographic and say there's more waste over here than over there.
That's Express Employment Professional.
So you don't turn your radio down. All I hear is radio. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, your signal
right now in my car.
Yeah, your signal's going in and out, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on.
If I have to bounce off, I have to bounce off.
Yeah, now your audio is really bad. I can bet you sound muffled.
Yeah. Car Bluetooth. It's all good.
All right. Okay, I wanted to. Yeah, I want to play a clip for you real quick before. I know you're about to go, but I want you to hear this because you said you're part Jewish. Is that what you said?
I'm a Jewish convert.
Oh, okay. All right. I want you to hear this. It's only about 20 seconds long or whatever. I want to get your opinion on this one as well. This is Elon Musk talking to what apparently is supposedly an AFD event. They're referring to this as a far-right group in Germany. In Germany. He's talking to folks that are in Germany. I want you to hear this.
I think some things that, something I think that is just very important is that people take pride in Germany and being German. This is very important. It's okay to be proud to be German. This is a very important principle. I think there's frankly too much of a focus on past guilt, and we need to move beyond that. Children should not be guilty of the sins of their parents, or even let alone their parents, their great-grandparents, maybe even.
You're okay with that as well, basically telling them to stop feeling guilty for what your great-grandparents may have done?
My very simple answer to that, without being too elaborate, yes.
Because
what my father did, I'm not responsible for. My father did some time in jail back in the 70s, very briefly, but he did. I'm not responsible. Now, if these young men who are far right, as you say, I don't think about this group, to be honest with you at all, not privy to that information, if they're going around diminishing the rights of Jews and other legal immigrants in Germany, I have a problem with that. I would agree with you.
Here's the point. Let's say he wasn't talking to a far-right group or any of that. What I'm saying is this. 1 + 1 + 1 has to eventually equal 3. Okay, you got him doing a salute. Well, that was a honeymoon, as you said. You got him telling folks to reinstate a guy who's clearly racist. Well, that had to be something else. Now you got him telling people you shouldn't feel guilty for what happened during the Holocaust. I mean, at what point do you start connecting the dots?
Well, to be honest with you, nobody in Japan, same situation if you ask me, with the same axis of powers, nobody in Japan is calling themselves responsible for what happened during even the invasion of Nanking in the 1930s before World War II even got started.
Yeah, but he's throwing up salutes. He's talking about rehiring racists. I mean, like, is none of this other stuff adding with that at all?
No, because I've already disagreed with you about the salute. To be honest with you, I don't think 1 and 1 equals 2 in this situation, because it's a gesture that a lot of people have made, which may look like it. But if we don't know his actual background, being a racist and a policy development racist, then all we're doing is we're seeing a butterfly that might be a cockroach. That's what I can come up with.
Well, when you say we don't know his background and things like that, my opinion is you're dismissing quite a bit. The Museum of Art over in Germany had a tribute photo of Elon Musk on the wall, big, huge painting. They took it down when he did the Bang Zoom honeymooner salute you're talking about. The people of Germany would be the best people to know if what he was doing was authentic or not. They viewed what he was doing as straight from the Third Reich. They didn't go with the honeymooners you're talking about.
That's interesting. I don't know that they still know. I mean, how many, got to watch the TikTok language here, of course. How many members of the Third Reich are still alive and still would go, yeah, that's darn it, that's an N-word salute?
I think there's a whole lot of descendants still around, not to mention all the video footage that is out there. Do you really need to have an actual living member?
Well, to that regard, why wasn't he kicked out of the country by the chancellor then? What did the chancellor of Germany have to say about the arm motion?
I don't know if he's been back to Germany since then. I don't know what the chancellor has said, but like I said, I used to play a clip on here also. There was a person that went around asking Germans in Germany, and all of them saw it as well. I haven't heard a lot of Germans say that this is harmless. The Germans can see that.
How many people did they ask? I mean, Germany is what, 40 million people?
I mean, like, shit. I mean, my guess is if I don't show you all 40.
In all honesty.
Huh?
How many people do you have to ask to get a representative sample and get 51% of your sample data to say, yes, that was an N-word salute?
Okay. Like I said, if it was just a salute, if it was just hiring back the racists, if it was just talking to them in Germany, but at some point, this stuff is starting to add up. I mean, if there was an LGBT member or a Hispanic immigrant doing something, you would add this stuff up. But for some reason, with Elon, each one is getting struck down individually. I don't know. To me, this is a lot. This has only been a month. All of this stuff has happened in less than a month.
I will say this much. When Elon Musk develops policy, and again, like I said earlier, is my subset, that takes away my right to do something as a black man, I'm on board. Like, oh, that's it. Screw him. Screw Tesla. Screw Elon.
My guess is you'll probably believe the reason why he gave it as a legitimate reason. I don't think you're going to be screwing like what you're saying. I think if he did it, you would be defending the reason why and saying it's something probably that made sense. If you're seeing that honeymooner salute out of this, you would probably be a lot more forgiving than you think.
If you go to my page, I've got a clip of the actual video. I had to search it out on YouTube and went, there it is. the literal exact same hand motion.
Okay. And the whole, to me, the whole part about bringing on a known racist back and fighting for this guy after he resigned, why would you want to bring back a racist?
You know, I don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe he pulled him on the carpet and said, you can't do that.
Is it possible that maybe because he's a racist too? Is that possible at all?
It could be possible he could fart donuts out of his behind. I don't know. I mean, seriously, we're engaged in a speculation game based on, I don't know, a lot of personal prejudice. I'm not talking about you exactly, but a lot of people do not like Elon Musk, and they're finding, you know, roaches where there aren't any.
You got a guy that is an admitted racist, resigned when he got caught, and Elon fought for his return. I mean, is it really speculating to suggest that maybe Elon agrees with the guy? Is that really that wild of a speculation?
Well, you got to ask him.
You think he's going to? You think he would admit it?
Why wouldn't he?
I've seen a bunch of folks walking down the street saying racist stuff with masks on their face. They don't admit it. They don't want to come out. They don't tell you that. They wear masks. They stay in. That's why they don't tell you that.
Oh, sure. I've got issues with those folks as well because they seem to have a uniform. And me being prior military, and I did personal security as well as a bodyguard, that looks awfully strange to me. And I've met some racists. Trust you me, I live in South Carolina. They don't all go out to the 511 shop and get the same combat trousers, same boots, same everything. I'm like, come on. Something's bothering me about that whole situation there. And it happened twice, both at the Charlottesville situation as well as this big march around the Capitol. I think what I really remember. Like I've said, these guys are feds. Come on. These guys are probably feds.
Okay. I got to move it on. You and I totally disagree on this, but
same thing, my man. Love you much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. And I will say that, man, I'm just going to say the defense of some of this stuff is a bit surprising to me. I'm surprised at that. Because I think that if somebody, let's say when what was her name? Kathy Griffin held up the severed head of President Trump. Let's say she was going to work for the Department of Government Efficiency. A liberal had control of it. And she got caught doing something like that or saying something similar to that, saying he needs to have his head chopped off. And all of a sudden, liberals are fighting to bring her back on. You think the right would be saying, well, as long as she gets the budget under control, it doesn't matter. It's insane. I don't know how to respond to that. I see Grandpa Wisdom, Texas Love, said that brother was lost in the sauce for real. Tap the screen. Get me lost in about 35,000 on the likes. I'm having a hard time getting you folks to tap the screen. Your thumbs are lazy as hell in this show today. I wanted to respond to another comment. Apparently you don't learn anything about the media distraction. He is showing you who takes your money and you complaining. I don't, I guess the biggest issue with this is that I keep pushing back on, because the notion is as long as Elon Musk shows us who is taking our money or the wasting our government, you shouldn't care if racism or anything else is involved in it. My pushback remains the same. If you got racists running the department or in the department, let's say Elon Musk loves everybody, but he got at least one racist on his team we know for sure, that guy is not going to be fair and balanced in how he's judging things. I don't agree with the notion of as long as he is getting waste under control, if there's a racist working for him, you should be okay with that. No, because that guy who has made it clear he does not like Indian people, any money going to Indian organizations are going to probably face greater scrutiny from him. He's not going to treat any money going to any Indian organization is not going to get the same scrutiny as some going to France or Germany. If you don't believe that, then you're tailoring your thought process to benefit him. But if he is admitting he don't like a certain group of people and he is put in a position to help eliminate waste, you can be guaranteed that everything going to that group of people is going to be viewed as waste. We don't need that. We need to clear up waste and get the government spending under control. I'm 100% behind that, but not doing it in a racist manner or excluding the idea that a racist might act racist in the position, which is what my last caller was saying. Yeah, he may have said this stuff, but if he gets the job, he's going to be fair and balanced. No way in hell I'm going to trust something like that. And I'll tell you this, the folks that are defending him wouldn't trust it either. They just don't give a damn about the people he's saying. But if they were saying that, if somebody was saying that about them, they would suddenly see the light. Real quick in the comments, I can't believe somebody would defend that stuff. I did want to respond to, and thank you for the super chat. Michael Graham says, "Go Trump." You know, Trump had I think a CBS poll. I did a video on this yesterday. 53%. Trump is polling at 53%. That's higher than at any point during his first term. So when Michael Graham says "Go Trump," he's doing very well. I mean, we're being a bit critical of him here because I don't like the fact that what Elon Musk is doing. I think he's doing it in a biased manner, but I'm in the minority on this. A lot of Americans, even the liberals, because in the CBS poll, they said even 30% of liberals view what Elon Musk is doing as favorable. So go Trump. Yeah, he's actually being viewed very positive. So his first 4 weeks have been pretty good if you ask a lot of Americans. So it is what it is. I'll give him credit when I see it benefiting, but for now, I'm on the minority with that. Looking in the comments though, you need to recheck your numbers. Now the CBS poll said 53% was his poll numbers. I don't need to recheck that. That's what they said. So if CBS is wrong, then that's something different. But they did say his poll numbers. He's polling at 53%, which is the highest he's ever polled. So he's doing good. He is doing good. And when you got folks like DJ Julio on here said he wouldn't mind Trump serving a third term because he's done so well. There you go. I know one thing. I will never buy an ugly Tesla. I'd rather build my own tin can wheels. Who said that, Mr. Stay Out the Way? You never buy a Tesla. It's not, you're talking about that Cybertruck. That Cybertruck, it looks like the depiction of a futuristic vehicle that somebody would create in the 1980s. It doesn't look futuristic in 2025. But it looks like something that would have been considered futuristic in the 1980s. That's what it looks like to me. Garbage can on wheels. Damn, you guys are mean to that vehicle. Let me go back to the box. You guys are mean. Continuing on with the program. I thought I saw Mike holding on there. I didn't see him. We'll go to Benny. Is that Benny and the Jets with the upside down America is in distress picture of Old Glory? Good evening, Benny. Hopefully the box brings him up because I'd like to know why he has the U.S. flag upside down while President Trump is in office. A lot of folks had the flag flying upside down, including Supreme Court Justice Judge Alito during the Biden's administration. But I think they all turned the flag right side up once Trump got elected. So apparently, Benny's not going to come through the boxes. I'm going to give it a moment to reset. U.S. aid supplied HIV drugs to women who contracted it because of a belief that certain behavior can go deeper, got rid of HIV. I don't know what you're saying there, but that does remind me of something. I don't know if I have it queued up, but there's another clip I wanted to run by you that I thought might be very entertaining because we're giving Elon Musk all sorts of credit for the money he's saving Americans in regards to the Department of Government Efficiency. I want you guys to hear something because I thought this was important. We played it last time, but it still should resonate.
Everybody wants to see less waste, fraud, and abuse in government. We hear it from every politician asking for power. They just don't deliver. And it should be easy. Estimates of what they call in politics WFA, that's how common it is. It has its own acronym, waste, fraud, and abuse. The estimates are wild. Reports say anywhere from 100 to $500 billion. Another estimate says 5% of all global funding by the federal government is wasted. The OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, just reported that in 2022, the government spent...
He's going to cover why Elon Musk is involved in USAID. I think it's really interesting.
247 billion in improper payments. What does that mean? Payments made in error, duplicate, or without proper basis. The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, which both sides rely on for government research, has a high alert list of programs and areas that need to be checked. The Department of Defense, Medicare, the prison system, food safety, cybersecurity, they're all there. Major concerns of mismanagement and waste, fraud, and abuse. But I have suspicions about what we're seeing here early on, and increasingly they are justified. Now, that list I just told you, the high alert list that the GAO does, do you know what's not on that priority list? USAID. Why? Well, one, it's relatively small. It's less than 1% of the federal budget. And by the way, its share of the budget has shrunk since Reagan, so it's not like it's rapidly growing. I'm not saying there isn't waste there, and the more you find, the better. I'm on board. And it's got a $44 billion budget, but that's nothing compared to the people on this list. Health and Human Services, $2.4 trillion. Department of Defense, $1.3 trillion. This is in 1 year. AID is not even in the top 10. It's not even close. And guess what? We spend more on federal prisons than we do on foreign aid every year. Think about that. On federal prisons, more than on foreign aid. Think about it. So, again, I can't think of a reason to be against efficiency efforts. But why start with USAID? And I think the answer is about who's looking. And that's Elon Musk. Now, the first reason is, from what I can glean, is it's low fruit. It's easy. USAID isn't attached to a big dog like Lockheed Martin or AT&T or Microsoft, all of whom feed at the government trough way more than USAID. And those companies have had real issues with hacking and cost overruns, which I'll tell you in a second. And then I got suspicious because this MAGA Pod Bros story that broke, of course, on Twitter, falsely claiming that USAID was funding Politico and other outlets with these huge amounts. They never break things that are correct. And sure enough, it wasn't correct. USAID wasn't feeding them in these huge amounts as suggested. So why did they get fed this story and by whom? Again, I think it points to Elon Musk. And so then we started doing more reporting, and guess what comes out? Did you know that Elon Musk is one of the entities benefiting from USAID? Thousands of Starlink terminals from Musk's satellite internet company provided to Ukraine. We all know the story, right? Didn't you think he gave them all? Turns out he didn't. But it did give access to Musk's advanced internet system to people who needed it. Now, problem with that promise is he said only Ukraine would have access, not Russia. But now there's evidence and allegations that Russians did have access. They're military. So what did USAID do? They opened an investigation into Elon Musk this past September. You didn't know that, did you?
Now, some of you folks do know that. But that is the problem, is that Elon Musk went after this organization, USAID, that's only like 1% of the budget, as Cuomo is pointing out. And it turns out that one of the reasons may be because he had a vendetta against them. So this is worthy of bringing up. I mean, I get that he's saving us money, as everybody wants to talk about. But if he's not doing it from anything other than a position of bias, you got to point this out. Because if he will do this from a position of bias, what else will he do from that position? If he's going to target certain folks, isn't this exactly what I was talking about the employee that he brought back? They're picking on certain people, certain groups. You notice that all of the things that Elon Musk is pointing out, wasteful spending, it's either overseas causes or it's liberal progressive things. None of it is conservative waste. Look, waste is waste. I'm fine with him getting rid of waste. I'm not fine with bias in government. And he does appear to be biased. Is it wrong to point that out if he is doing a little bit of saving here and there? Going after transgender, going after money going to Africa and shit like that. I mean, we talk like what Elon Musk pointed out. How much waste is in the federal prison systems? I mean, how much waste is in the military? He's going after this little small, low-hanging fruit. So going back to the box. But I do believe that what he pointed out is worthy of discussing. Continuing on with Michael. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Mike. It's a disaster. Yeah, I would agree with that. Mike, good evening.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Oh, man. Another whining black guy. That's what I was told. I bring up too many whining black guys.
Hey, man, you bring us up because we don't know what we talk about. We don't know that we've been talking this shit since it was 100 degrees outside. And now that it's cold and wintry, the same shit is actually happening, Tim. Who would have thought that this damn fascism would have actually started, Tim?
Well, they're going to say...
Listen, he went after them because he wanted to stop the investigation. Period. End of discussion.
That's what it says.
Because here's the thing. If we're talking about waste, how much money was spent for the security detail for the Super Bowl? If we're talking about spending and how we spend money and whether it's wasted on what programs it's all bullshit, Tim. It's been bullshit. We've been talking about it for months now, and they're trying to excuse it away, and you can't explain it away. All you can do is accept the reality that either you are the white supremacist, you support the white supremacists, or you're being willfully ignorant. That is it, Tim. Listen, okay, let me say this, Tim. If what I just said is not true, and we're trying to get people that don't belong in this country out of this country, we want the criminals out. Why are we making an exception for the Africans coming from South Africa to come here as refugees? Why are we making this an exception for these South Africans to come here under the same protected service, temporary protected services that we're trying to get the Haitians out? Why? It's the same thing, Tim.
Yeah.
You're letting you're getting the brown ones out so the white ones can come in.
I didn't know
What are we talking
that.
about here?
So I know Elon Musk suggests that they're being the whites in South Africa are being mistreated. I know he believes that. I didn't know they were letting them come over here.
Yeah. Look it up. I'm telling you, look it up. Now Trump is saying that they're being mistreated over there in South Africa, so he's giving them temporary protected status to bring their ass over here.
And while kicking out the Haitian migrants who are
while kicking out the black and brown ones, Tim. I'm not making that up. That is a fact. So why? Let's just call it what it is. All your Trump fluffers, and the top fluffer was on earlier in DJ Julio, making excuses for this bullshit. And listen, the bottom line is this, Tim. The bottom line is this. We're seeing what we're seeing. We're trying to convince ourselves that it's not what it is, because in order to accept it, you're accepting the dire conditions that they're trying to create. It's simple as that.
I didn't know about the South African thing. I gotta look that up.
Oh yeah. Because all of a sudden, those Afrikaans, and I may be mispronouncing it.
I thought I heard that. I'm assuming you in Africa with CONS.
No. It's Afrikaans. It's with a K. It's Africa KAAN or something like that. They're white Africans over there in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got to remember, during apartheid, when they stole all the black folks' land, 7% of the population controlled 90% of the property over there, which is crazy, right?
Right.
But now that they're trying to get some of their land back, they're being mistreated. Ain't that a bitch?
Reparations for the whites in South Africa.
Yeah, and so now that they're being mistreated, now Trump is because Trump stopped aid to South Africa. You know that, right?
I heard that. Yes.
And part of the reason why was that, Tim.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't have it. Yeah. That's bad.
And so now they're allowed. But look, Fancy Prancy got something to say, because they're going to deal with their reality. You supported fascism. You supported white supremacy. You supported white Christian nationalism. You didn't want to believe it, and now it's going to touch you. And the funny thing is, the people that are in Congress and Senate, if they end up losing their positions at midterms, they're going to be just like the rest of us.
Explain.
They won't be in position of power. They won't be any of the elites, and they'll be dealing with the same system because they will just be regular American citizens again.
What about what Julio? You mentioned DJ Julio, and I see in the comments, Moogly says Afrikaners, Afrikaners. I've not heard
U.S.
that.
President.
But I want now, man, this is crazy though. And now,
Hey.
go ahead.
I'm not. No, you go ahead.
I want to play a clip. I'm hearing this for the first time, but it's in regards to what you're talking about. I'm just really curious to hear how this goes.
President Donald Trump's offer to take in white South Africans as refugees fleeing persecution may not spur quite the rush he anticipated. An executive order he signed on Friday provided for resettlement in the U.S. of, quote, Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination as refugees. Afrikaners are mostly white South African descendants of Dutch and French settlers, some tracing back their roots in the country to the 17th century. But it's not clear they want to flee the place they've called home for hundreds of years.
Yeah, why would you want to go? There hasn't been any really bad taking over of land. The people are carrying on like normal. And, what are you going to do over there?
That was the response from Neville van der Merwe, a white 78-year-old pensioner living in Cape Town. And he had this to say about Trump cutting off aid to his country.
We all know how Mr. Trump behaves, so it's not, why should they do that? Is it being spiteful?
Trump is pushing back against a law signed last month by President Cyril Ramaphosa, aimed at addressing the country's unequal land ownership. White South Africans make up less than a tenth of the country's population, but a legacy of the racist apartheid government left 3/4 of privately owned land in the hands of the white minority, after 3.5 million black people were forced from their homes. The new law makes it easier for the state to expropriate land for what it says is the public interest.
And we will not be bullied.
Ramaphosa's governing African National Congress, or ANC, has defended the measure and accused Trump of amplifying misinformation propagated by AfriForum, an Afrikaner-led group. And even that group, which lobbied Trump's previous administration on their cause, said it was not taking up his offer.
We have to state categorically, we don't want to move elsewhere.
That's AfriForum CEO Callie Creel speaking on...
All right, apparently they don't want to do it, but the offer does stand. So he definitely gave them I see what you're saying now. I hadn't heard that.
Yes, sir. So in the comments or these mediocre white team men that always make it seem like we're playing the race card, right? We again, it's crazy to me. It's not surprising, but it's crazy to me how they always want to be the victims. These people want their land back. 3 million Africans were misplaced, and now that they want what was theirs back, somehow they're the victim.
Well, just like they say in America, that happened, decades ago, and you shouldn't be able to use that as a reason for why you acting this way today. So if a ton of because that would be like the Mexicans or the Native Americans saying they want their land back in the United States. Well, we believe that. Look, that was old. That was then. It doesn't, it doesn't resonate now. The Africans are like, oh hell no, it does. We want our shit back. But in America, we have this belief of what happened in the past. You just have to live with that.
But then your slogan is, make America great again. Let's get back to that time. And somehow people that were oppressed in that time are supposed to be okay with going back to that time. It's crazy as shit, Tim.
Well, they're now talking about the golden age. They don't kind of change the terminology. What does going back to because he's saying the golden age a lot now. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, because he's trying to clean it up and trying to make it sound like it's something that is good. And the funny thing about it is if you're not rich, you're going to suffer. You're going to deal with it. You're going to deal with the things. He's not giving anybody anything. The average American is going to lose. White, black, purple, or brown. It doesn't matter. They're going to lose.
But wait a minute. Why would they lose if Elon Musk is saving us, billions of dollars? Shouldn't that make our lives better?
he's not saving his shit. See, here's the thing, Tim. What do you call saving? Savings is something that you could tangibly access for later for yourself, right? A savings. You put money in a savings account.
That's what you would
That's
think.
saving.
That's what you would
Right,
think.
that's what you would think. What he's doing is they're misappropriating funds. They're redirecting funds because no one's going to see a dime. It's going to go from one funnel to the other funnel. That's how the oligarchs get their money. That's how the rich stay richer. They're not. Listen, all these people on your panel or in the comments you're not going to see a motherfucking nickel of this money.
And that's my point, is that we're giving Elon Musk and Trump credit for cutting waste. In my opinion, if you don't see any of it, it's irrelevant. If all of a sudden your life gets better financially, substantially, because they're bragging about saving billions of dollars constantly. If you start really living better, then I'm kind of with the MAGA side of the aisle. But if nothing is changing, you still got to have your 2 jobs, you're still struggling to make ends meet, him saving us billions of dollars means nothing.
Well, and I'm going to say this, Tim. I'm going to say this. Set the money aside. There's not enough money he could save me to set my people back another 200 years.
Whoa.
There was no dollar amount.
Yeah.
There was not a dollar amount that would be okay with me to see brown people oppressed or women oppressed. Not a dime. Not one dime.
Wow.
And so take those 2 things. Now, it's not just about money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about money, right? It's about classism. It's about racism. It's about setting people back. And the people that think that I'm spouting or not, these are just facts. These aren't even my real person, because you know how I really talk, Tim. I'll solve this application. But at the end of the day, when I hear it, I know that they don't understand, or they do understand. If you don't understand it, you don't. Tim just played you a clip of exactly what I just talked about. So it's hypocritical to say we're getting people out. And by the way, Tim, some of those people coming from South Africa, some of them are convicted criminals over in South Africa. Some of them are part of white supremacist groups that they're not talking about.
Well, but the black people are treating them unfair. It's a witch hunt.
Yeah. But some of those people are white supremacists, are part of white supremacist groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and some of them are criminals, just like a lot of the criminals they let out of the prisons for January 6th. What we're trying to clean up, I thought we were trying to make it safe. I thought that's what we were trying to do, Tim. I thought we were trying to get rid of the rapists and the
Mike,
murderers.
I'm gonna tell you something, Mike. I want you to be wrong so bad.
I know, and you've been telling me that. You've been telling me that since we met, bro.
I'm praying, and I don't even pray, but I'm hoping that you're wrong. I want you to be wrong so bad. But
how many things are you seeing that we've talked about so far?
Way too fucking many.
Way too many. And the sad part is this: people are ignoring this with their blinders. There was a guy on live.
Hold on. In the comments, just for shits and giggles, because you said they're criminals. Maddie in the comments says, "How do you know they are criminals?"
Because part of the report, and I don't know if it was that clip, but part of another report that I was reading said that there were white supremacist groups and members that were part of that. Because I was reading.
Well, being a white supremacist is not a criminal, though.
If they're known white supremacists, why are you bringing them over here?
I mean, I'm with you when you're right, but that's not a criminal, though.
I'm assuming that white supremacists in South Africa, that maybe that's just me, Tim. White supremacists in South Africa have been taking part in criminal activity in South Africa. See, here's the thing.
No, that ain't always true. I mean,
it's not always true, but you know what, Tim? You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna use my life experience that tells me this. If an administration is bringing white supremacists over here, they're not bringing their best.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna default to their criminals because I'm not defaulting that they're coming over here to help me.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, if you're bringing over people that are admitting they have racist tendencies and things like that, they shouldn't be able to come over here. Like when I moved to Australia, if I was talking like that, immigration would not have let me in. I mean, you shouldn't be able to come in if you're talking that way.
Well, and then the person that asked me that question, if you're a Trump supporter, I ask you this. Just like we've been asking, how do you know all brown folks that are being deported are the rapists and murderers that they told you they were? If we're using the same standard, Did you ask yourself that question, or did you just sign up for mass deportation?
I think they just signed up. Mike, you know what I got to do, but man, I want you to be wrong so bad. I really do.
Hey, but Tim, I'm gonna say this. I told you this before. If I'm wrong, everything's fine. But if I'm right,
we're in trouble.
And I've been saying that every time I heard Big Cal say it on here, and everyone that voted should be hoping that I'm wrong instead of saying Trump 2024 or go Trump, because it tells us exactly who you are.
I want you to be wrong so bad, because if you're right, you know this is permanent. There may not be no coming back from this.
I understand, and I want to be wrong too, but I can't ignore what I'm seeing.
Yeah, there's probably no coming back from this for at least the rest of our lifetime.
And just so you know, Randy in the comments, Randy, here's the problem that you and a lot of people don't understand. I don't hate anybody. That's your problem. I'm just being honest about what's going on. I don't hate anybody. The problem is I'm recognizing the ones that hate us.
Mike, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving on with the program. Man, some of you guys are really distressing the hell out of me. I had DJ Julio on here talking about Trump should be able to get his third and fourth term. Now I got this down here painting a black Armageddon. Man, how about them Eagles? God damn. Did anybody see the Super Bowl? I did talk about that because I'm watching Kendrick Lamar and I'm like, my beloved MAGA is not going to like this. I'm watching the halftime show. I'm not getting a lot of tapping of the screen. We should be at least around 50,000 by now. Get your boy about a minute of screen tapping for my TikTok viewers. I mean, just show the program some love. Tap the screen, get the likes up, help out the algorithm. Not a lot of you folks are doing that, so I'm going to ask that you do that. America do not take democracy for granted, says Pipe. Man, like I said, frightening stuff. Lee and I own a union drywall company. I am forced to use brown people to appease the union. Terminating very qualified white men. It's bullshit. Here's one of the things I don't, in regards to that comment. You're saying you run a company, and to appease the union, you're hiring basically unqualified black people so that the union is happy. Here's where I'm not a fan of the whole DEI thing. There are unqualified white people that do jobs as well. They're never called DEI hires. I mean, fact is, as an employer, sometimes you just pick the wrong person for the job. That's it. This is not the best person I could have picked. Maybe he didn't live up to his resume or something like that. It ain't always about DEI. If an African American or Hispanic or a woman, or in some cases even a disabled person or LGBTQ does a poor job, everybody think they only got that job because of their condition. Nobody says that about a white guy. I'm assuming that's not racist, but it certainly ain't from a standpoint of equality. We see cops on the floor. Just the other day, by the way, I'm not going to bring the clip up because it probably would cause a copyright issue. Because some of you folks may watch Active Self-Protection. It's a channel I really enjoy watching. Shows a lot of self-defense encounters and gives you lessons. Talks about, police chases and things like that. Showed a police officer reaching somebody's pocket to disarm the guy and shot him in the leg with the gun. His own gun. Nobody called her a DEI. When white guys are out here doing things they shouldn't be doing in the name of law and order, nobody calls them DEI. It's just a bad hire. He just ain't trained. He's just the wrong person for the job. Nobody says he got the job because he's white or because he's a white man. So why do we automatically assume that when a person of color or a woman gets a job? Like I said, I'm not saying it's hate, but there's some bias in there somewhere if you sift through that. There's certainly some bias in there somewhere because we're not saying it about one group and we're saying it about another. Via executive order, South Africa is just the start, says Will G. So bringing over South African refugees, you're saying that's just the start. Wow. Paul Warner says, I know I will believe anything this caller says, referencing my last caller there, Mike. Will G says it's golden shower. I don't like the golden shower, Will. I don't like the golden shower. Yuck. That's some P. Diddy type shit. Let me make sure we're ready to go back to the show. Thanks some of you folks that are tapping the screen. I do appreciate that. In the South, it's the good one boys club. Let's hopefully they keep that deep rural South. It's not just DEI, it's DEIA. The A is for accessibility, like wheelchair ramps in sidewalks and braille on elevator buttons or any accommodations to help people work. Yeah, I get your point. I'm not disagreeing with it, but DEI is slowly becoming a dog whistle for one particular group of people, in my opinion. When that plane crash went down, and Trump is on television within 24 hours, they're still pulling bodies out of the river. And he's talking about DEI. I didn't think about it being a handicapped person. And I had a show that night. My guess was there is either a black person or a woman that's involved in this crash. It's not going to be a white guy. We know that. So like I said, there are people that are working throughout our daily lives in jobs they should not have. Maybe they got it because their dad used to work there. Maybe they got it because their mom used to work there or something of that nature. I don't like the idea of automatically assuming that a person of color who failed at a job or a woman that failed at a job only got it because they're a person of color or a woman. Well, like I said, we know damn sure we are never going to say that about a white person. Even though a whole lot of them get a job because they're white too. That's where it looks like it starts to become biased and racist. Going back to the box though, real quick before we continue on. Dumbest thing you said. DEI can't equate to white guys. They aren't a minority. Duh. Then what is it called, Chris? Toy baller? And I'll ask you folks in the comments as well. If a person that does not have the qualification get a job solely because they're white, what is that called? Chris, you can lead the response. What is that called? We know it happens. If a white man gets a job solely because he's a white man that he's not qualified for, what is it called? Let me know in the comments, Chris. I love to know. My guess is you might not want to answer that one. Looking in the comments, people get jobs they don't deserve all across the board, and that is 100. Felicity Huffman, Beth says president. Damn. Wasn't it Felicity Huffman trying to get her kid into a school that the child was not qualified, did not have the merit to get into that school, paying people to lie about her being on some type of soccer team or something like that? You think that white America don't have a history of doing that shit? And if she got into the school without having the proper merit, guess what was going to happen when she graduated? She's probably going to get a job she didn't have the same merit for. That's not DEI though, is it? All right, going back to the box. I see Chris Wood silent. All right, going back to the box. You know how it is, folks. I don't know what to say on that one. Casey, good evening. Welcome to the program. The whole DEI thing to me is biased in its very nature. Because you don't hear the folks complaining about DEI, complaining about white guys that get jobs they don't deserve. Some would argue that Pete Hegseth, RFK do not have the qualifications for their jobs. I mean, RFK is over Health and Human Services. He does not have a medical background at all. He's an attorney that sued a few people. That's it. He doesn't have the background to be the head of HHS. Pete Hegseth doesn't have the management skills necessary either. How are they not DEI? We'll give the box a chance to reset. Apparently my caller is not coming up. Hunter Biden got the job he didn't deserve. Okay, what is it called then, Joseph Hernandez? The head of the RNC, I think her name is Laura Trump. You think she had the merit? Laura Trump is the head of, I believe, the RNC. You think she had the merit? Or you think her dad's name has something to do with her getting the gig? What is that? Is that not some kind of DEI? So, like I said, it's hilarious that people are complaining because we were totally fine with nepotism and people getting jobs they didn't deserve until it started working for people of color. Before that, before DEI started working for people of color, it was working for essentially white people. The whole of U.S. history, up to that point, the DEI was created. It literally was created because that is what was happening. And then we had a problem with it. Think about it. When did the first person of color win a Grammy, win an Oscar, win a Tony? You think no actor, no singer had any merit at all back in the day when it was only being won by white people? Is that not DEI? Is that not some type of ostracizing? I think the night was about the 1980s or so before some of the people of color started winning some of those awards. Even though they were in movies, they were putting out music and all of that. It's crazy. It didn't have an issue with it until people of color started benefiting from it. Laugh my ass off. Have you never heard of Burisma? Yes, I did, Joseph Hernandez. But until Hunter Biden is convicted, which he won't be now because of the pardon, it's just an allegation. It's just an allegation. Hunter Biden has never been convicted of anything in connection with Burisma. I understand you think he's guilty of sin. I get it. But legally, there's nothing there until he gets convicted. When they take our tax money to give people jobs they don't deserve, yeah, that's a problem. They've always done that, though. They've always done that. That ain't something new. Like I said, you think that white America was not getting jobs that were being assisted by tax money? Like I said, it didn't become a problem until people of color started benefiting from it. I'll go back to the Trump is a trust fund baby, somebody says. Trump also. Merit didn't get him where he was. I mean, he had a huge head start. He got in the Wharton School of Finance. All of that. You tell me none of that came by nepotism or anything, huh? He just earned all of that. Let's try Catherine Fox. I don't know what's going on with the box. We'll try it again. Good evening, Catherine. Burisma is not American, so it doesn't matter. It's another argument to make. Trump is DEI. I mean, Trump is a successful businessman. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but he had a huge head start. Trump's head start was so great, I would not be surprised if many of you folks were billionaires if you had the same head start. I mean, he said, I got $1 million loan from my dad. How far back did he get that $1 million loan? What would that amount be if you adjusted for inflation? He got a whole lot of money from his dad. Not to mention, people were going to open up doors and do business deals with him too because of his dad. So he is a successful businessman, but he got a huge, huge head start. The box is problematic. I don't know what's going on. Let me try it again. I'm trying to bring up guests, and I'm having some trouble. We'll try it one more time here and see what happens here. Driver 715, 400 mil is what he got. Well, when his dad passed away, he definitely got more money. There's no denying that. Please, people, win the lottery and broke 3 years later. Yeah, but that's not the average person. I mean, you're saying that Trump got $1 million loan from his dad and that's nothing special because people win the lottery and they're broke 3 years later. Yeah, but how many Shaquille O'Neals come out of the NBA and actually get wealthier? They don't all go broke. That advantage means something. So you're trying to tell me that the money that Trump got from his dad is meaningless because people go broke when they win the lottery. I think you're picking an extreme to make a point. Yo, Tim, you got, okay, I'm trying to see what's going on. Stick, we'll go with you. I don't know why the box is not letting me bring up guests. I got to wait till the box resets again. Damn. But while it's resetting, thank you folks that are tapping the screen, the few of you that are. Sidney Poitier won 2 Oscars in the 1960s. He was loved by white people. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, though. He won 2 Oscars, and then I think there was this huge gap where no African Americans won again. I think the Grammys were even later. I'm just simply saying, we know when it comes to the Oscars, the Tonys, the Grammys, MTV did. I think Michael Jackson was the first person that got a video on there. I mean, if you want to pretend like there was no racism in music and the accolades of that, hey, look, we can play that game, but all of that stuff. When was the first time we had a black quarterback? I mean, all of those areas, white people were just getting those jobs. I mean, if we want to pretend like this stuff didn't happen because one person got through. All right. I mean, we know this stuff was taking place. MTV didn't even want to show Michael Jackson at first. Yeah. I mean, there's so much of this out there. It didn't really people did not find this concerning until it started benefiting people of color. When I was a kid, I'm trying to think. You know, I grew up watching cartoons. How many superheroes or, people to look up to were black? I mean, I know Mr. T had a cartoon in the 80s. I mean, but think about it. How many superheroes were people of color back then? You just didn't see it. You just didn't see it. You're telling me that none of that had anything to do with some kind of specific DEI in the programming? You can notice it now when they're putting all these interracial couples on TV and cereal commercials and shit. People are pointing it out now. You didn't notice when you look at any of the commercials back from the 60s and 70s, everybody on there is white? You didn't see that, huh? Okay. All right, looking in the comments. They don't want us to have black superheroes. I can't think of any of them. He-Man, She-Ra was out back then. Obviously, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. I can't think of any of them. None of them. You had like Fat Albert, which is obviously not a superhero. I mean, I can't think of any of them. There was nothing to look up to on there. Let's try it again. The boxing's really not playing with me today, huh? Stick, Darula. The one you're looking for, Shazam. I don't remember Shazam that much. Good evening.
So let's not speed past what you just said, right? Back then, the only person we had that was black was the Green Lantern, right? And then going forward, after that was probably the Black Panther. It was just in cartoons. It wasn't on the TV screen like it was with Superman and Batman and the Joker and all that stuff. Okay, so going back to Elon, this is the info. The info is this: Elon's dad was a part of the apartheid in South Africa, and if you know anything about what happened, they were part of the people that came and took over and ran over the land. You know what I'm saying? And enriched themselves with whatever the resources were that they were taking. And so that's why they have a pass with coming over here, right? And who's to say that they'll come over here and then Gaza will be their home? Because they did it. They did it with Israel. They made Israel.
So you talking about kicking out the brown Palestinians and putting a bunch of white men in Gaza
on the beach?
Damn.
So this because you gotta think about it. It's South Africa. Ain't that where they at right now on the beach?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So listen, it's gonna take us some time. We're gonna do this and do that. We're gonna make it so you have an easy transition. We're gonna bring you over here. I'm gonna put you in one of my Trump towers. All over the nation.
Do you really think though that they're gonna do that to Gaza? I mean, it kind of reminds me of that 1980s song by CNC Music Factory, "Things That Make You Go Boom." You think they would allow that?
Tim, I didn't see none of this coming. Nobody, I don't think anybody, including the voters that voted for Donald Trump, seen this coming. But he has told you, we're gonna own it, which we ain't me and you, of course. But in a sense, I'm gonna make this all Trump properties, and I'm gonna put this. I mean, it's right there. To me, I can see it. I don't know why nobody else can. They're gonna come over here, get some real estate over here as well. And they're going to make money off this real estate over here. And then once they get that how they needed to be rivaling the Riviera, they're gonna go ahead.
Then let me ask you from this standpoint. Since a lot of folks are willing to turn a blind eye, at least as long as we're doing great economically, is there anything in this for the average American voter?
Nothing. I mean, did Trump tell you that we're gonna profit off of it in the sense of the American voter or the average citizen?
Well, if you turn Gaza into the Taj Mahal, or what did he call it, the Riviera of the Middle East, I mean, does that not make money for the American? I mean, if you go to, what is it, Dubai or whatever, all the citizens are rich.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out how that little strip is gonna help us way over here, like about what 2 seas and ocean away. Like, how is that gonna help us?
Well, if it becomes a posh, very exclusive, premium vacation spot, and all of that money is coming back to the American people, it should help us a lot. That should be billions of dollars going to the pockets of Americans.
So what, like the average time to build a bridge is 5 years. We talking about a whole damn coastline, talking about we're gonna rival the Riviera. Trump ain't even gonna be here to see it. Man, stop. See, this is the stuff, man. Like we need to get out of what could be and what is. Number one, which we ain't even talking about it, but I'm gonna bring it up right now because it's the best time. Elon Musk getting in, knowing and seeing my social security number and any of my internet data or whatever.
Right.
Going in there. Actually, it's not even internet data. This is stuff that's not even on the internet. This is secure data. And then you're not even from this country. And on top of that, you're not an elected official. You don't have the clearances for none of this. And then you went in with some 18, 19-year-old, 25-year-olds that don't have any clearances, and they're not accountants. What are we doing?
Well, and you make a good point about the accounts. I said that earlier in the broadcast, is that if you were going to truly go in there and audit everything and save us a bunch of money, you would take accountants, not computer programmers. That does look kind of fishy. Like, why don't you have accountants with you? Why are you going in there with computer programmers?
You should definitely go in there with accountants like Obama, who actually wanted to straighten out what the banks had going on. Do you remember that? Obama going and telling the banks, hey, you ain't finna keep hitting people with all these late fees, and Wells Fargo had to send people their money back, and this. Man, listen, when you're trying to help people, you will see results. We seen results. And guess what we also seen? We seen the economy come back. We seen him get a hold of the national debt, all sorts of stuff. We seen results. But it's quiet because that's the wrong side. Even though he did right by the country, it's quiet because that's the wrong side.
Yeah. And you know something, it's interesting you say that, because I don't think results are what people are looking for. Like Creed on YouTube is saying, I can't wait till he cuts food stamps. I think the issue is not that they're looking for some great benefit of the cuts that Trump is doing or Elon Musk is doing. I think the win is in sticking it to the liberals and left-wing causes. If you can stop money from going to LGBTQ causes, money from going to liberal causes, I don't care if I don't get any of it. As long as you stop it from going to people that I don't like, I consider that a win. And I think that's all he needs to do, is just tell them what they want to hear in regards to who he's sticking it to. They don't care if they get a penny of it, as long as the people I don't like don't get it.
Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly, Tim. And this is the thing too. I hate to say it this way, but I just have to. They believe in Santa Claus. They believe in Cupid. They believe in the Easter Bunny. They want their kids to believe in Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and Cupid. So they live in fairy tale every day. Every day. It's a fairy tale. Even though the shit outside is horrible, they know it. They refuse to believe it because, again, it's a fairy tale. If everything's a white tee, it's all right. And that's what it, because, again, somebody said that they would have voted for Joe Biden if he was on a respiratory, system.
That was
on his deathbed.
yeah, that was Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks owner. He said that.
But guess what? Would he have voted for Kamala like that? Hell no.
He just,
but guess what? Joe won that, and Joe got those votes that was needed to beat Donald Trump because he was a white tea man.
So you think Kamala Harris, the reason she lost was because she's a black woman?
That was a big determining factor, but also it was the mis and disinformation about her and her ethnicity as well. So then you got the black men that wanted to slow down the black woman as well. They not voting because of the policies and none of that. They voting because they know Trump going try to pull in the reins and be a man's man in the eyesight, and he gonna come up with some plans where we can get control back of our households. Because right now, my wife, she chased me with a broom outside, and I don't like that.
Damn.
So this is the dudes that we dealing with. And he instead of him being a man and getting his wife under control, he want Trump to do it for him.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned Kamala Harris. Now I may have a different opinion on that, but if Kamala Harris was a white woman, you think she would have had a better chance of winning?
Yeah, really? Definitely. But she still would have lost because she would have been another Hillary Clinton. They would have, found some way to say that, maybe she was racist or did something towards children, or that was the excuses. She was trying to help unalive the population. She was doing all sorts of stuff. She was part of this group and that group, and they do rituals, like anything that they could come up with. That
what if it was like Elizabeth? What if it was like
possible.
Elizabeth Warren or Governor Gretchen Whitmer or somebody?
I'm gonna be honest with you. They're gonna say they're too old. They're gonna come up with something. They too old. It's. I mean, ain't that what they said about Biden? Biden's a white female. Biden's a white female. The only thing they could give you was he's too old.
Yeah. The thing, I kind of agree with you, but I don't think it was because of what you're saying. I think that Trump's game is just so strong. I mean, the way he holds rallies, the way he captivates the people. I mean, the way he can run game on an audience. I mean, I haven't seen that out of a politician. I mean, other than Obama, I haven't seen that out of a politician in a long time. Maybe Bill Clinton had a little bit of it, but Trump, the way he can speak to an audience and captivate them, because I've been to a couple rallies myself, and I'm like, it's impressive. It's impressive. So I don't think Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Gretchen Whitmer, Elizabeth Warren, I don't think any of them have that. He has the it factor, which is if something happened to Trump, God forbid he perished, there is nobody in the Republican Party that can fill those shoes, because he is that, he just has that wow factor.
Well, I would just say this. Every time you ask Republican MAGA... Go ahead.
I always point out funny comments. Now, I'm giving Trump credit for having a wow factor. Advent Comics says, damn, Tim, wipe off the orange jizz.
Yo, that's a good... Hey,
oh, my God. That's funny. That is funny.
Tim likes to give pushback no matter what side it is. So just understand, he's testing me to see what my reaction is going to be, and am I going to come with it? Okay?
The man does have a wow factor. The man does have a wow factor.
Yeah, he has a wow factor, but the whole thing of it is his wow factor, I told you, Tim, is like Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I'm saying? He thinks he's still in the 80s and it's cool to, run up in the sorority and, try to get their panties and, run around. That's the era he feels he's in, even though he was probably like 40 years old and he shouldn't have been thinking like an 18-year-old, like them guys was on Revenge of the Nerds. But this is the era he grew up in.
Well, but I'm gonna tell you something. When you say "Make America Great Again," a lot of folks would favor that, a more male-dominated society, a society where nobody had a problem telling, being able to tell what a woman is, or being able to tell the difference between a actual providing alpha male of the family, where the man was at the top. Even a lot of MAGA women believe that. I've had women call in the program and say that they believe in the hierarchy, which is God, man, woman, child. They want that back. So when you talk about walking in dressing rooms and things like that, hey, he was a man's man.
Tim, I'm gonna say it just like this, and I want you to understand.
Sure.
The only one that they give credit to is being the first black president is who?
They give it to, they used to give it to Clinton for a while, but Obama.
Yeah, but Obama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you telling me is white males have been running this country since its conception. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So any changes hasn't came because somebody else told them to do it. It's because they agreed to it. Period.
Yeah.
Both sides. All the laws that are on the books, guess what? Bipartisanly it got passed. Because it has to. It has to be bipartisan for it to get passed, because somebody's going to say no on either side. Somebody's going to say yes on either side.
True.
So you got more yeses on one side, but you got to have some yeses on the other side for it to get passed.
No disagreement.
It is what it is. Okay. So again, since its conception, white men have been running this country. It's not somebody else. It's you guys.
Oh.
The country is here, and at this point, because of you guys.
Well, it looks like they're about to. It looks like they're on the cusp of running this motherfucker again. It's about to get a pretty strong white presence in leadership, if you ask me, based on what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing.
And in immigration. And then just like y'all said, and just like you found the clip about the South Africans being, or old boy telling you about the South Africans having the
I had never heard that. I had not heard
the
that.
refugee status, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. And at the same time, we're going to deport these brown folks, and we're going to just do what you do. And at this point, they're mad at us because we ain't mad. We just saying, I told you.
Well, I know. I get a lot of liberals that are pissed off. I don't know about us not being mad. There's a lot of liberal tears out there.
No. See, we're not mad at the actions right now. It's that point in time where we're just going to sit back and watch. And then while they screaming, they're the ones crying now. They was crying before. Remember, they was crying about the eggs. They was crying about the gas. They was crying about the mortgages.
It's interesting you would say that. It's interesting.
Crying.
It's interesting you would say that. Mr. Splaggerville on YouTube points out. He says MAGA is not bitching about the economy anymore. It's kind of funny. He says that all of a sudden now that Trump is in there, ain't nobody because the price of nothing has came down, and MAGA's not saying a damn thing about that.
And that's the point. And that's why we ain't saying shit about it. We gonna sit back. We're going to let y'all, go through it. We're going to let these, farmers that voted for Trump, and they feeling it that he ain't subsidizing them no more, and they about to lose whatever to the big corporations. Hey, you voted for it. It is what it is. Oh, eggs is high. Okay, and everything's been high for us.
I don't think they care about that, though. But I told you, Stick, as long as he's sticking it to the liberals and hurting causes they don't agree with, they're okay with the higher price of eggs. Isn't that what he even said, is that, Americans may hurt a little bit with the tariffs, but they'll understand, and you didn't hear MAGA say anything. So I don't think it matters.
Last thing, Tim, the guy that came up here, or maybe you was talking to in another live, I can't remember, but it was this live, I'm sorry. He said that he didn't care that the guy was racist as long as he's saving me money, right?
AJ in the comments said that. I see him in the comments saying MAGA forever. He's black MAGA. He said the same thing.
So, and that's cool and that's fine. But where this ties into you may not save any money, it's just like they did all those reports about black folks getting charged more interest rates or higher interest rates on the house, or devaluing your house because, those people are racist or whatever, or have racist tendencies. And then also racism is a system. And if they're a part of, I can come and appraise your house and give a lower appraisal to a white person versus giving a should I say, a higher appraisal for a white person on their house versus coming to a black neighborhood and giving me a lower appraisal, even though my house is basically the same. Yeah. So these things affect people in ways where right now he can't see it. He's just saying, "Oh, as long as it's getting, as long as it's saving me money." But where's that money going? Where's it being spent?
Well, like I told you,
how did he? Yeah, how did he come up with that figure that the Democrats was the ones? Just the Democrats.
I think he's saying what people want to hear, and that's all that's necessary. But I got to move it on, Stick. I don't think they care if they ever see a penny of it. As long as he's sticking it to the liberals and the causes they don't agree with, that's kind of all they need to hear, even if they don't see any of it.
Big facts. All it is, I want to be angry at somebody, and I'm pointing at them, and that's what we get.
All right. Appreciate it, Stick. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, and as I made it clear, folks, for you folks that may be on YouTube and you don't have TikTok, we're also on what do you call it? We're on Instagram Live as well, so you can certainly go there as well. Same thing, Handsome Liberal on all of these platforms. We don't block, ban, or censor, so I want to make it clear. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. Doesn't matter if you're critical of the host or anybody else on the show. We believe in free speech, so understand we'll give you plenty of time to get your point across. And it does not matter what side of the aisle you're on. We do not talk down the guests. Speaking of Instagram, Sherbert, appreciate you holding on. I just happened to see the symbol there. Sorry to keep you on hold, but you've heard a lot. What say you?
Honestly, I was playing a video game, Tim. What were the talking points?
Well, Elon Musk, we're talking about him first of all. Do you think he's qualified?
No, God no.
Why not?
I mean, he's qualified to be an engineer, and he's qualified to run a couple of things, but he doesn't understand the intricacy of our system, because if he did, he wouldn't cut Meals on Wheels.
Damn. Yeah, the thing, and that is something that he is cutting a lot of programs that people feel that, like, why would you cut that?
Tim, one of my exes works for NOAA, the people that map all of our harbors.
The weather.
She was telling me, not just the weather, all of our ports have to be mapped after every major storm, or else countries won't sail into our docks, into our harbors. Mm-hmm. So when trade comes to a screeching halt when they get rid of NOAA, that's going to be an interesting point.
Why the hell would he get rid of NOAA?
It's extra money. It doesn't matter if it's science.
And before you continue on, Will G says he put them in there to make things seem not really what they are. They are going to make things disappear and prop disinformation. I mean, I definitely can see a campaign of propaganda and disinformation coming if we only have one side in there. But so you kind of say that Elon Musk is not qualified. I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't like the fact that he does seem to have, let's say he was qualified. Let's say he is qualified. I see it from a position of bias. I mean, notice they're not finding any waste, conservative type waste. It's all overseas, Africa or liberal causes. I mean, it seems like it's biased in its nature.
It's pretty clear that it's biased. I mean, you can see, if you're looking at it rationally, there's liberal bias and conservative bias, but they're going at it with a sledgehammer. It doesn't matter to them, especially Elon Musk. It's all profiteering. He's part of the swamp. He's making a new swamp. And how do they not see that is the funniest part to me.
Can we bounce back from this?
Oh, it's going to take years. I mean, probably in my head, like 10 years, we might get back from all of this damage, but it's going to take a long time when you destroy a system. And we send our troops off to, all over the goddamn world to take over the planet now, according to Trump. No new wars.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Whatever happened to, we're not going to send money overseas. We're going to focus on America first. We're not going to get involved in new wars. He seems, I mean, how many countries is he threatening right now? Canada, Greenland, Panama, Gaza. Am I missing something?
Send money across the world, but let's also rebuild all of Gaza and level it, start over, and somehow that's not going to cost us any money. In the 4 years Trump's going to be here, he'll be probably dead before anything can really be made out of that in his perfect vision of it.
I'm hearing rumors. I'm hearing rumors that there's a hell of a lot of MAGA that would be okay if he was around for a little bit longer than 4 years, though.
And I've told you I'm going to be there at the Capitol when that happens.
Well, I guess you're gonna play the role of Ashley Babbitt.
I am never going to be doing anything that would get me arrested, but I will absolutely be there to be one of the people protesting that shit.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you, Trump will make sure the National Guard is there for that event.
I mean, if they lock me up, 3 square meals a day. Let's see with his economy.
Well, they can lock you up and send you to El Salvador, you know.
At this point, it's all fear-mongering, Tim. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do, but if he goes for a 3rd term, I'm going to be there. That's the only point I can say for confidence.
What if he goes for a 3rd term, but what if it's Congress approves it? What if Congress...
No, I'm still going to be there. That is one of the founding points of our entire goddamn system, is that you only get 2 terms. You can't have a dictator when you only have 2 terms, 8 years. But you go for 3. I don't care how they structure the system. If they went toe-to-toe with Obama, he would lose. But they wrote it up in this perspective that they put up, that it couldn't be Obama versus Trump. It could only be Trump because he's the only person living that has done this situation. Get fucked. We can't play by this system. I will be there protesting if they're trying to get him in there for a 3rd term.
Yeah, and to me,
I shouldn't have gone awful that hard, but
yeah, I'm not a fan of letting any president enjoy a 3rd term. But then when you specifically write the language up so that it can't apply to somebody who served 2 terms, then it looks real corrupt. I mean, well, we don't want to take a chance that Obama may come back up, so we're going to add some clauses in there so you can't run. Then it looks real bad.
This way.
Huh?
Let me jury-rig it this way in the terms and services here.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like, is that it's being rigged. I mean, if you think you're the best and you're so great, why are you preventing this guy from running? There's no excuse to do that.
They don't want to play on a fair playing field. They just want to rig the system. And it's pretty clear with how Trump has done every interaction, everything we've ever seen. It's never fair. It's him trying to demand what he wants.
So if he's
okay, that's one way to do it, but that's not the American way.
Then why the hell is he winning so much? I just did a video on the CBS poll just yesterday. The guy's poll numbers are at 53%, which is the highest they've ever been. Why is he doing so well if he sucks so much?
He's really good at media.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, I work a full-time job. I kill myself working. If I had a job where I couldn't pay attention to YouTube and understanding what's happening going on around the world and listening to you and other perspectives, then I wouldn't know half of this, and then it could just slip right past you. So they're winning by not paying attention and blitzing the media. Flood the zone. 100% it's working.
Yeah. So my guess is if he tries to get an additional term, that probably would work too, would it not?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm really concerned everything that they want is going to go through. All of Project 2025 is most likely going to happen, and I hate that.
He said he didn't know anything about Project 2025.
Bullshit. I don't care what he said. That man is the most lying president ever, and that was only during his first term. Bullshit.
But what about all the money he's saving us?
Saving? He just ripped off his people for another couple $2 billion with his meme coin. It's not saving anything.
Well, when you get an investment, it doesn't always work out.
Wait, Tim. Let's not forget that he put our national debt 3 or 4 times higher than it had ever been within the first 4 years. How much money is he going to save us to get us back to before his first term? I would love to hear anyone talk about what that time frame is. With reasonable, not, the tariffs are going to pay for everything. Where's the money coming from that you're going to get us back before his first term?
Well, if you start taking over as many countries as he's claiming he's going to do, we would be a very powerful nation, would we not? He's talking about starting
powerful is not no debt, Tim.
Huh?
We would go into more. Powerful is not no debt. We would go into more debt taking over these countries and then propping up the systems and paying for all these new employees to run the system across the world. That is not good for us.
Then what the hell is he doing?
Power. He's a dictator. He has said he wanted to be dictator on day one, and then, oh, look, we're going to take over Greenland and the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
You know, who could have seen that one coming when he said he wanted to be a dictator? I don't understand. His favorite people are Kim Jong-un and Putin, and we just shouldn't believe that?
And you can now add Gaza to that as well. Panama,
Yes.
Greenland, and Gaza now.
And so let's not believe our lying ears and our lying eyes. I don't understand how all of these DJ Julios can apologize for literally what he said. It's not he was a joke anymore. He's saying we're going to put our military.
Yeah, if it's one thing I'll give Trump credit for, he ain't joking. When he say he intends to do stuff, he does intend to do it. He actually only thing I've heard him really lie about that I'm 100% certain he lied about is him promising to protect LGBTQ rights. That he didn't do.
I 100% agree with you, but that's what makes me all the more furious with these apologists that say he was just joking.
No,
we're not going to lose our right. It's not a ban on abortion. You're not going to have all these problems. No new wars. He's just joking. When they knew it was a lie, when they knew they were hoping for Project 2025.
Yeah, there are some. I think there's a Republican bill.
People.
Yeah, I think
when
there's
I'm screaming at my phone listening to you and your guest. It's because these are the same people that say, "Oh, he was just joking, Tim. Can't you see it? He does. It's not serious."
You're taking him out of context. You're taking him out of context.
Fuck those people. DJ Julio, MAGA Reacts, Gen X. I'm sure they are nice people in their normal lives, but when you overlook everything and we're going to shut down all our harbors when they take away our systems.
I don't know, Sherman. Let me ask you. Listening to how you talking, could you truly be a friend to someone who was MAGA?
Yes and no. I could be a work friend. But a true, I'm going to have a beer with you and sit down. After you've been proven to apologize for everything, you're not going to listen. So why would I be your friend?
Wow.
I'll listen to everything. And I have been listening to everything. And it's always bullshit when they come back at it. Whenever you ask them for proof, it's always, oh, these child molesters. Oh, we can't listen to them. They're drinking the blood of children. Like, what? Can't you give me a real logical answer? Like, Kamala had the business credits and the child tax credits, and we were going to have a system. And now it's just, deport everybody, fuck your feelings again, now that Trump is the one in control, even though he's the littlest bitch of all presidents we've ever had.
I'm assuming you don't like Trump.
Have you listened to him whine for the last 8 fucking years?
But you gotta admit the last few months he been doing a hell of a lot of winning though. He been winning.
Oh, good. So now we have a change of name for the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And he set up a new parade over that.
I went on Google today. And I did just a Chicago to Biloxi map to see, so I could zoom in on the Gulf and see if they changed the name. It does say the Gulf of Mexico now if you go to Google Maps.
So let's compare the infrastructure program and rebuilding all of our bridges accomplishment over, let's rename a body of water. And literally, let's get rid of Black History Month, but then let's make a national holiday of the renaming of the Gulf of America. That makes sense, right, Tim? That's not, at all biased at all.
He doesn't like Black History Month. I think that's pretty obvious.
Well, he doesn't want history. I mean, he's the man who had Mein Kampf in his dresser drawer, told by his dead ex-wife in a, what do you call that when you're being talked to by the lawyers?
He's talking about like a non-disclosure agreement or something? What are you talking about?
No, I think she was suing Trump during divorce and, under oath, talking to lawyers. She was talking about how...
Like arbitration?
I think so. but when the lawyers are trying to depose you and they're asking questions.
Yeah, he said deposition. Yeah, I see in the comments somebody said deposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was in a deposition and said that in his nightstand, Mein Kampf was in there. And like, okay, she died pretty close after, and he got a tax credit on his golf course for burying her on that property.
Yeah.
I don't see how this is a good thing. I don't see anybody could convince me that he's a good person after that.
Well,
sorry.
He is our guy.
Anything Biden, what did Biden do? He was a Christian-going Catholic man, went to church every Sunday. He was a little creepy when he smelled people. Like, I didn't like that. I don't like Biden. But tell me what he did other than a couple of small things over horrible things that Trump did. And it's always nonsense I get back from Trumpers.
But the thing about it is the stuff you're calling that's horrible from Trump is what they view as very favorable. So that's the difference. I mean, serious. If I told you to name 5 things that Trump did that's horrible, they're going to like all 5 of those.
Well, that's disappointing.
Just telling you, that's how it works. All right, Sherwood.
Would I be their friend?
Huh?
I'm going to say no. When you say, would I be their friend, I'm going to say no because we can't agree on those 5 basic tenets.
It's a good way of putting it. Appreciate you holding on, man. Good talk.
Have a good night.
You too. You too. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. And yeah, he dropped. Thank you. Some of these things are illegal. You have to tell me which ones, T-Mac. Unfortunately, the next one will be a marksman. This America. This is America. Are you suggesting that somebody's going to put a bullseye on Trump? I mean, I think maybe he might realize that some of the things he is doing is very unpopular to millions of people and might not put himself in a position where that can happen, where he may stay behind the scenes. I mean, you know, I'm assuming a lot of dictators like Kim Jong-un, he got multiple decoys. Same thing, Saddam Hussein had multiple decoys. I mean, I hate to bring Adolf into the conversation, but Adolf, you know, it is what it is. Adolf had a bunch of attempts on his life. We have to de-blackify, de-wokeify the House for an honest appraisal. That is true. ABC News did a special about a black couple that had their home appraised and got a very low appraisal. And as Will is pointing out, de-blackified, de-wokeified their house, took down all their pictures and everything, made it look like a white couple where a white family was living there. And they got a higher appraisal. They got a higher appraisal. And that's in modern times. That ain't hundreds of years ago. It's not even decades ago. And as I always bring up, when people say, look, racism ended a long time ago, and it happened to me. Something similar to that happened to me. I used to own a number of properties on the south side of Chicago. With properties come mortgages. But I was making good money. Had 20 plus tenants. Thought I was doing pretty well. Was living the American dream. Had a nice little whip, nice car. You know, could take a vacation anytime I wanted to. Plus, I had my own day job as an engineer. I was doing all right. Thought I was doing good. No racism in sight. All of a sudden, I get a letter from some attorney, some law firm. I don't even remember which firm it was, but they told me that I had the option of being involved in a class action suit. Turns out Fifth Third Bank was intentionally giving African-American mortgage lenders a higher interest rate. And I was one of them. No clue, had no idea that I was paying more money for a mortgage than somebody would have if they were white. So you can be involved in this shit and not know about it, because you gotta assume if a person was getting a lower appraisal on a home simply for being black, there was no way for them to know about that. So you gotta assume you would get away with it on a lot of people. I mean, I had 5 different properties. I had like 3 duplexes, and I had, you know, a single family home and all that stuff. That stuff was mortgaged through different companies. So I don't know if one of the other mortgage outfits was doing it. There's no way to know. I don't have the data to make the comparison. So it came by way of a whistleblower. I believe Toyota Financial. Now, Fifth Third Bank did it to me, but I believe Toyota Financial also in the 2000s. We're not talking years ago. We're talking about in the 2000s, in our adult lifetime. Toyota Financial was another one that had to pay out a huge settlement because they were giving lenders for auto loans different rates based on skin color. So Toyota Financial done it as well. You gotta assume they're not the only ones. They're just the ones that got caught. Looking in the comments, Kamala was as much as a puppet as Biden. Says alien organism. Damn, that's a hell of a name. Kamala Harris as much as a puppet as Biden. Look, every president that comes along, at least in my lifetime that I can think of, with the exception of Trump, has been called a puppet. Biden was being a puppet for Obama. Bush was a puppet for Dick Cheney. Obama was a puppet for the Clintons. Bill Clinton was a puppet for his wife. Every president that comes along is a puppet. It's just something you hear. It ain't gonna be long before people say that Trump is a puppet for Elon. So I can't really work with the puppet thing because everybody says that. Now, Kamala Harris, if I was going to believe a president was capable of being a puppet, I would probably see the light on Kamala Harris a little bit because I can see Nancy Pelosi and maybe even the Obamas controlling her to some degree. Maybe. But she didn't win, so it doesn't matter. She did not win, so it does not matter. But I could see a possibility. But if you have the purse strings, if you're in control, how long are you going to let people control you when you know you don't have to listen to them? So I can't imagine somebody being a puppet for all 8 years, unless you're really doing a lot for their campaign. Now, Nancy Pelosi could raise her ass off. When it came to raising money, there's probably not many Democrats that raise more money than Nancy Pelosi. So maybe I could see in that case. Will G says, what did the media say is something you look at from a distance? That's MAGA to deal with. Huh? What did the media say? It's something you look at from a distance. That's MAGA to deal with. So you say you should look at MAGA from a distance and not be friends. Kind of what my last caller was saying. Is that what you're suggesting there, Will? MAGA equals trailer park people, says Nico. That says Paisa. I don't know. That's a lot of wealthy MAGA. They're not all trailer park people. Abortion kills millions more blacks than the police ever could. Depends on who you talk to. Everybody don't think that abortion is killing someone compared to the police. I mean, if you're having an abortion in your first or second week, do you look at that abortion procedure the same as watching Rodney King get beat up or George Floyd die? I mean, you watch that the same way. Some people don't. So I don't know if I would agree with that. Democrats, Democrats, I guess you're saying Timmy's tampon. Yikes. And the money thing that they gave was in the billions to overseas in the country to do studying about gays that does not allow them and execute them. The Middle East doesn't believe in that. Yeah. I mean, maybe they were trying to give money to the Middle East. Now, let's go with what you're saying. I'll go back to the box after this. I'm going to ask you guys to tap the screen. Keep me on up to 80. Can I get 80,000? Give me about a good minute of tapping the screen on TikTok. Help get the likes up. Appreciate that. Now, this is coming from Sean. You're saying that the money that they gave was in the billions to overseas in the country to do studying about gays. That does not allow them and execute them. You're right, in the Middle East, they do execute members of the LGBT community. Now, I'm going to do what I often deal with from MAGA, where you spend something, you try to defend something. As bad as it sounds to give billions in our tax money to gay, I guess you're saying to study gays in the Middle East where they normally would execute them. Here's how I would spin that. Maybe they're trying to show you in the Middle East that you can be born gay and it's not just a chosen lifestyle, to perhaps humanize members of the LGBTQ community in Muslim countries so that they're not so quick to execute them. Let's spend the money to have the science show them that you can be born gay and these people are not just choosing to do this, choosing this sinful lifestyle that they believe, and that it is something that they cannot control. Maybe being able to demonstrate that this person is starting to show favoritism towards the same sex person as young as 5 or 6. He's not choosing to be gay that young. So if you can spend the right amount of money to show them that this is not the condition you think it is, that this is something that they're born with, maybe they would be less likely to execute and punish them so greatly. They were trying to, if I want to spin it to show you how it could go, they were probably trying to humanize the LGBTQ community, which could ultimately save some lives. That's the way I look at it. Medea says, okay, yikes. All right, anyway, going back to the bots. Medea. Tyler Perry, that Medea shit. MAGA reacts. Good evening. MAGA. Always a pleasure. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Now,
hey, what's going on?
Not much at all, man. You see the picture of Elon there on the screen. Is he qualified?
Yeah, I was listening to that guy earlier. I trust a computer guy to do simple accounting way more than I trust an accountant to do fucking programming and data management.
Why not?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but why do you have to use one to do both? Why? I mean, you got the entire government behind you. Why not bring some accountants for the accounting and computer guys for the computing?
Well, the goal is you get the computer guys to present the data, and then we could all do the accounting ourselves. I mean, this is, you got to realize what the accountant mostly does is like look for deductions and stuff like that. And you don't need to do that to just simply, organize and manage data. And what a programmer does, his entire job is to organize and manage data.
Well, you know why you don't need an accountant if you're going to destroy whole programs at a time. If you were doing surgical strikes, I'm going to investigate this program and see where there's some waste. Maybe you're buying vehicles you don't need to, or maybe you're flying people first class where you don't need to. We're going to do surgical strikes to cut some waste. If you're doing that, you need an accountant. If you're going to just tear the whole program down, you don't need one. And that's why he's not using accountants, because he's destroying whole programs. He's considering the whole program to be wasteful. So like the Department of Education, for instance, there's nothing good about that at all. Just take the whole program down.
Listen, it all depends. Sometimes it's better to wipe it all off and then start fresh and just bring back what you need. And sometimes it's better to be surgical. I just know surgical takes too long, and sometimes, he doesn't have 20 years to be surgical, like you say. He's only got 4. And even then, he really has 2, because he might lose his power in 2 years at the midterms.
You think he could actually take down these whole departments and start them back up efficiently in 2 years or 4 years?
I don't know, but it's only been fucking 20 days. Give him at least a year. What the fuck? Like, these Democrats are all running their mouths because it's only been 20 or 30 days, so it's too early to have results to debate them with.
MAGA reacts. You really think that if the Democrats was doing exactly what Trump is doing, the right wouldn't be going apeshit as well? You're firing federal agents and the CEI and all these people wholesale. You don't think the right would have a problem with that?
I mean, we went through all this when freaking Biden was elected, and
he went through all this.
He did these $2 trillion spending programs, the infrastructure bill, and all these bills. We told him these bills would fuck shit up and cause inflation, but in the end, he did it, and guess what? We got inflation, just like we said would happen.
But you're talking about getting rid of all of the FBI damn near, and getting rid of all of the CIA, and a lot of these people. You really think that this is good?
I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad, but we've been trying the same shit for fucking forever. Let's try something new.
We ain't been trying to get rid of the CIA.
What's up?
We ain't been trying to get rid of the CIA.
We've been trying to rein them in.
You don't see where this could be a possible threat to national security?
I mean, listen, you're going all over the place. Are we talking about the small department like USAID? Or are we talking about the big department like the CIA?
I'm going all over the place because I'm following Elon Musk. He's doing all this stuff.
Look, right now it's only been 20 days. I think we should give him at least a few months to see what happens. And if it's bad, we could undo it.
So what about all the Americans? You say give them a few months. What about all the Americans that are losing their jobs?
I mean, we'll give them the jobs back. I mean, this is America. They're not going to, die the next day. And hopefully they repurpose, put somewhere else where they're more useful.
Do you hear him saying anything like that?
Yes. He's been saying that from day one. Especially, when Vivek was talking about closing down the FBI. He wants to close down the building in D.C. and send them out to all the other buildings to, actual do some.
So if he gets rid of the Department of Education, he's talking about giving all them people another job.
He's talking about making it more local, so it would be the states. States would have to create their own version of the Department of Education.
Right. So they don't. So the people that get fired don't get another job.
Well, they could get a job with the state, or they could get a job doing something else. I mean, right now we have the best
but he ain't got nothing
system to get these people rehired.
But he ain't got nothing to do with that. You said they could get a job with the state or something else. He's firing them and telling them, well, you can go out in space and find yourself a job. He ain't giving them nothing. He's just firing them.
Look, if the job's useless, do you want to keep giving them money forever to do a useless job, or do you want to fire them so they can find a new job?
You think the whole Department of Education is useless?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I haven't looked into it that much, so I don't want to defend it, but it seems to be like a useless department to me, because all it does is send money out to different people. All it does is spend money. Like, it doesn't actually work in actual education. They just send money to all these places and tell them, use this money to do something.
Here's what I don't understand, MAGA Reacts, is if we get rid of some of these departments and allow the states to do it, why do we automatically assume a state Department of Education is going to be more efficient than a federal one? Why do we just, you could be, if you do something at the state level, it's literally the same thing, it's just smaller. Why do we automatically assume that's going to be efficient?
Because it's going to be more precise. The people at the state level know what the state needs. It's like the difference between using like a chisel and using a hammer to scuff something. The Department of Education is a hammer. If you hit a giant rock with a hammer, it's not as good as using a chisel to like more precisely break off little pieces.
So like when Florida wants to teach that slaves benefited from being a slave, and they're not teaching that in, say, Illinois, you do understand where you could end up having Americans that have a whole different education depending on where they grew up at?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're still all going to be Americans, and you're still going to have the people in Florida voting for and organizing their Department of Education based on the state and what it needs.
You're okay with that?
I mean, honestly, I spent years in Texas learning Texas history, and then I moved to Florida where all that information was completely useless. Like, why the fuck do I need to know about the Alamo in Florida? I mean, I enjoyed it. I loved the Texas history, but I get to Florida. First of all, there's no Florida history, which I found hilarious.
Why the fuck do I need to know about the Alamo in Florida? So if you don't live in New York, you don't need to know anything about September 11th.
Well, that's a nationwide thing. And honestly, is it in the history books? That's more recent history.
Yeah, I believe it is, yes.
That's the other thing that I found funny about these history books. Like, even in Texas history or American history, they give you this book, and you barely get through like a quarter of it before the year is over. So it's kind of funny.
I don't know. I mean, I got you and I disagree on this because I got folks that tell me all the time the party switch didn't happen. The Civil War was not about slavery. I get people, I'm like, man, if you were teaching history, it would be incredibly inaccurate. I mean, I don't... Go ahead.
Sorry, the problem is in most of these history books, we don't even get far enough to where we talk about the party switch. I've never really got that far past the Civil War in any of these history classes back in high school.
You've never had a history... Wait. You've never had a history class that go past the Civil War?
I want to say World War II at the latest. I don't think definitely not civil rights or anything in that modern.
That's my point. That is my point. You're illustrating what I'm saying right now. If you went to school in a liberal city, you definitely got up to the Civil Rights Act and stuff like that. If you go to school in Texas or Florida, like you're talking about, they don't want to talk about the civil rights. I think you're kind of making my point for me. Is that they're hiding parts of history.
I'm talking about, we're covering 200 years in like barely 6 months. It depends on the curriculum. It depends on the teacher. I mean, the stuff was in the book. It just, if you do it chronologically, it's going to take like 2 years to get to this stuff.
But that's my point.
Unless you skip all the stuff in the beginning. If you skip the beginning and go to the middle, or if there's 2 years of it, I'm sure you'll get there. But
I think you're making the point I'm making is that if you allow the states to do what they want, they'll teach out of the book, but they'll skip things that they don't really want to talk about, like the Civil Rights Act, for instance. They may not even talk about that.
You're missing my point. All the stuff is in the book. It's just if you do it by order from beginning to the end, you're not going to get to the more recent stuff because there's just not enough time. And that all really depends on the teacher. Like the teacher is doing his best to teach us all this stuff. It just, how far are you supposed to get and how much stuff are you supposed to? There's so much history. Like it's just so much stuff to cover. And, I'm talking about 20 years ago too. I'm not talking about today.
Well, I'm just going to say this. How we got started as a country, how we got past like suffrage with women and racism and things, and slavery and things like that, that should be covered in every part of the country. I mean, there should be nowhere not talking about the. I mean, the things that were super important.
There's an example. They covered slavery pretty well. They covered slavery and all that stuff very well. It's just, we ran out of time before we got to the more modern stuff.
All right. Well.
It's not like they're just going in order. They're not trying to be racist. They're not especially back then, 20, 30 years ago, they were not trying to do anything. They were just teaching what's in the book. And if you go by chronological order, it's very hard to make it all the way to the 60s.
I'll be honest with you. You can cover it all. I'll be honest with you. Even if they showed movies, like when I was in high school back in the 80s, they showed us the movie Mississippi Burning to show us how difficult it was back. That's just a 2-hour movie. You answer some questions, but you got a good idea of what was going on. I mean, you don't need to cover it all, but you shouldn't be skipping shit is what I'm saying.
But that's the problem. If you don't skip shit, there's not enough time to cover it all. They weren't trying to skip anything. That's part of the problem. They did skip shit, then they would get to what you're talking about. And then the other thing we started with, the Department of Education has no control of any of this. They just tell you, they just control where the money goes. They don't control what's in the curriculum. They just control where the money goes and what it goes to. And, like I said, my cousin's a teacher, and some of the shit I helped him get money for was ridiculous. Like, I helped him do some little project, 3D printed some rockets for him, like rockets to shoot in the air, and he got like $1 million grant over it or some shit is what he told me.
I think there's so many federal funds that support schools in rural areas and things like that. I don't think a states' rights level doing this all at states' rights is going to work. So certainly if you live in Mississippi or Alabama, some of them rural areas, the states can't provide for all of that.
Well, that's on the voters to change the government until they get a government that provides for them. I think a more precise system works better than what we're doing now, where we're just sending money to be wasted all over the country. Because they spent the money on 3D printers that have sat in storage for 2 years because they didn't have a certain person qualified enough to use them. And it's just, I told them what printers to buy, and they've been in storage for so long that they've gotten to the point where they're obsolete.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I'm hearing about all this federal waste from the Republican Party. Is the federal government doing anything good? Are they helping out people that need it? I'm not hearing any of those stories. It's as if 100% of the federal dollars are being wasted. What about all the people they're helping? That's going to be hurt. Did the Department of Education not do anything good at all? We can't find anything that they're doing good at all. It's 100% bad.
It's like if you give a crackhead $1,000, he's going to use a lot of it for crack, but he's also going to use some of it for food.
I gotta go.
And now they're addicted, and they'll do anything to protect the crack. So they'll say, "Oh, you're making me starve," and make you feel bad because they're gonna starve. But if even like a third of it is going to crack, we need to be more on top of it. And what's better? Who's better to be on top of it? The guy all the way on top, or the guy that's next to him, like his direct supervisor, or the guy all the way in DC? To make sure he doesn't spend the money on crack. Because, if you put it in those terms where, all this money is wasted on drugs or something, you want someone more local to supervise that guy to make sure he uses the money properly than the guy all the way up top that doesn't even see the guy.
I'm going to leave it at that. I got to go.
Take care, man.
Catch you later. Wow. And by the way, like I said, after many of these conversations, he's not the only one that thinks like that. He's not the only one that thinks like that. Pip Furback says, that's MAGA logic. Well, like I said, he ain't the only one. So this is what we're dealing with, folks. Anyhow, folks, I do got to step away. I appreciate the 76,000 likes. We had a lot. There's a lot more I wanted to get into, but unfortunately, you know how the time constraints are. I do appreciate those who did tap the screen. That bald chick says he's not going to get any more money no matter how much they cut. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's about Americans benefiting financially. I don't think celebrating Trump has anything to do with Americans benefiting financially. I think the celebration comes in the fact that he's sticking it to the liberals, sticking it to the transgender community, sticking it to progressive causes. It doesn't matter if you don't have to give me a penny. If you're not giving money to put tampons in bathrooms, for instance, somebody mentioned that. I'm happy if you can stop doing that. You don't have to give me a cent. That's what it's about. They're not really judging what Trump does based on whether it helps them out or not. The benefit is in I won. I beat the liberals. As long as he can tell them he's doing that, that is good enough for them. For me personally, as I started out the live by saying, if that money that Trump claims to be saving or Elon Musk claims to be saving, if it doesn't benefit me directly, I don't see that as a win. I'm not going to give him credit for telling me he done a bunch of shit that has made no difference in my life. But then again, I don't have the same ideology as MAGA. So that's a little bit difference there. Will G says MAGA ain't shit. Says inflation was up mid-teens before Biden took office. Trump, when the IRA passed, it was at 9%. Now it's at 4%. But like I said, I don't think people care about the economy under Trump. That was something to get Biden out of office. Now that Biden's gone, nobody gives a fuck about the price of eggs or the economy. Sticking it to the liberals is the goal. You couldn't say that to get Trump elected. You had to make it sound like it was about the economy and all that shit. It ain't. It ain't. Because you can clearly see now that the price of eggs have went up since Trump took office. Yet the complaining from MAGA has went down. So it never was about that. It was about sticking it to the libs. You know, I don't want the blue hair people taking over the country. I want to be able to tell what a woman is. You know, I don't want these transgender folks. I don't want these immigrants roaming around. But they couldn't say that because there's far more people that cared about lowering the price of eggs and the price of groceries. So they told those folks what they wanted to hear, and those folks also sided with them, and this is what we have now. But I don't think Trump has to do a damn thing about strengthening the economy for MAGA to still say he's the best ever. I think he's doing pretty good with them now, and the economy ain't got better at all, and they think he's doing great. I got folks saying he should be on the side of Mount Rushmore. While eggs are $7-8 a dozen, they're saying that. So it ain't got nothing to do with the price of eggs. Anyhow, folks, what about eggs? MAGA. Yeah, they don't care about eggs. Meanwhile, the foxes are in the hen house. Yikes. Them white liberals got y'all right where they want you. The white liberals have no control. What are you talking about? Real quick in the comments, Bush debt. I don't get what you're saying there. Somebody's commenting. Anyway, I appreciate you guys tapping the screen to 78,000. Thank you very much. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, as I always say, follow the program on Instagram, on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube. We're here Monday through Friday. I was paying $8 for a dozen. Now I pay $6, so it's better. David, okay. It depends on where you're at. Depends on where you're at. The price of eggs have went up under Trump in certain areas. Maybe in your area, you went from paying 8 a dozen to 6. I guess that's something to celebrate. I don't know, but Trump should not receive a presidential library when he leaves. He doesn't read anyway. Well, he's got to get a presidential library. That's part of the deal. I think even Nixon got that. Did he not? So Trump may end up with a presidential city by the time he leaves. I think they were trying to name highways and shit after him already. There's a lot of real deep adoration and love for Trump. He'll get a lot more than a library by the time he's done. You may have a city or a state named after that guy. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you folks for tuning in as always. We'll do it again then. Appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know what I'm hitting there, but I'm trying to alter it. Okay, there we go. What is this? People will still be talking about it didn't come down on day one, even when They do come down. It won't matter. It came down. I know what you're trying to say there, Bryce. Don't understand that comment. Prices will start dropping. Took the Dems 4 years to fuck everything up. Be patient. Don Trump, the reason why people aren't being patient is because Trump kept using words like day one. He didn't say when I get in there, be patient. Now that he's getting in there and all that day one stuff is turning into bullshit, well, now you need to be patient. We were supposed to see the end of the Ukraine-Russian war in 24 hours. Now it's be patient. So I get your point that people should be patient, but understand he's the one that says you don't need to be. So that's where it's coming from. See you guys tomorrow. Appreciate it. If I can tap the right thing here.